fan. What a great night for rivalry.
Yeah, we're trying to get
Welcome to Thomas James Stadium and the campus of St. Charles Catholic High School in Dallas, Louisiana. For this week's District 12 2A battle, hitting the Rebels of Riverside Academy in just upriver and reserve.
Test 1 2, test 1 2. Yeah, I got you. Test 1 2. You got me? Tommy, you need to slide in here. I didn't see him. All right. You good? They're at Yenny tomorrow night.
Hi, I know.
I thought they were at Gormley. I wanted to go eat in the city.
What's that?
When y'all taped, nothing showed up on the TVs.
I don't know if that's, is it usually?
Yeah, usually it does.
Hey, Lenny, Leah said when we might not have video up here because she said when they tape the open, it didn't show up on the monitors. It normally shows up on the monitors. Okay. I can't. Let's see. Are they on? Yeah, all right. They weren't on. That was the problem. The monitors weren't on.
Okay, good.
Yeah. All right, they're on. I can see now.
12 minutes and 8 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. You can use any of this.
I got nothing on my monitor. Why don't I have anything on my monitor? Unless they did it in the locker room. Sometimes they do. Toss.
Yes, they did.
That means they want to play tonight. Deferring.
Riverside wins the toss, and he likes to defer to the second half. The Comets will receive and defend the South.
We await the kickoff of St. Charles Catholic and Riverside. Let's go downstairs to Stephanie Altman for this special report.
Thank you, Ken. If anyone is suited to offer a scouting report on tonight's game, it's Newman head coach Nelson Stewart. His Greenies faced both Riverside and St. Charles Catholic the last 2 weeks, or as he called it, running the gauntlet. Here's what Coach had to say about tonight's matchup.
First off, the strengths of both teams defensively are their secondary. Both tackle well, cover well. I think that can come into play really on both sides. I think, first off, St. Charles has the speed to cover a little bit in terms of what Riverside can do. They're able to throw the ball vertically, is obviously well short. I think it's going to be, honestly, the ability of both teams to run the football. I think secondaries can even each other out. Both very good in the kicking game. One thing, St. Charles can do is they can shrink the game down a little bit. They can, incorporate, their run game, move the clock, high percentage passes. So I think it's going to be important for Riverside to just try and contain them, force some punts, and then just do what they do offensively.
Good thoughts by Nelson Stewart, and we've got good weather for this football game. 76 degrees. We had a little bit of rain, just a slight drizzle, maybe for about 5 or 10 minutes, just enough to cool things down. Otherwise, we are ready to play. Tyler Goche will kick it off for the Riverside Rebels. As you look at his coach, Bill Stubbs, on the sideline. This man was brought here to build a dynasty, and he has done that at Riverside. And the strong-footed Tyler Goche puts it out of the end zone. It'll come out to the 20-yard line, and that's where St. Charles Catholic will have it. Lloyd Nash will quarterback the St. Charles Catholic Comets. It's a young sophomore. Wasn't expecting the quarterback. This was Patrick Ratliff's team, but Ratliff suffered a concussion 3 weeks ago and has not returned yet. So the sophomore quarterback has come in, done well, completed 70% of his passes, passing for 621 yards, 6 touchdowns, and more importantly, Wade, he has not got this team in trouble. Only 1 interception in 3 games.
Well, he's extremely well coachable and an outstanding athlete.
So on first down, he'll toss right off the bat to Justin Loop, and Loop nowhere to go on the right side as he is brought down by Jared Hemel. He's one of the players we're going to be watching along with Evan Veron. And when you look at the offense, we're looking at Big Tyron Arsenault also, who leads that offensive line. He's a Nichols commit, and they'll run his way on the left side a lot today.
Well, Tyron Arsenault, like you said, is a Nichols commit. He's going to have to play well tonight to keep that offensive on schedule, and that's one of Frank's big things he needs to do tonight is stay on schedule with a real good Riverside defense.
No gain on first down, brings up second down and 10 as the Riverside defense digs in. The lefty will throw complete on the far side, and making the catch is Geoffrey Wagner. Riverside defense, we're going to be watching some of the players, including Juwan Bell, and I like number 44, Aaron Veron, because he will be making plays all over the field, Wade.
Well, Frank Monica said Evan Veron is a beast. I think that was his quote. He believes he's one of the most disruptive players on the Riverside defense. St. Charles is going to have to find a way to control him tonight.
A 9-yard gain brings up third down and 1. And one of the things St. Charles Catholic was very excited about was making sure that when they got down to third down, it was third down in short yardage, and that's what it was. But St. Charles Catholic calls a timeout on this 3rd and 1.
Well, I think what we've got here, you can see Ty Monica, the offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator, and Frank Monica right there in the huddle. A little intense right now. I think maybe they came out in the wrong formation or a play got brought in wrong. That's usually what takes place at this stage of the game. They're a little antsy, right, so on and so forth, trying to make sure that they want to stay on schedule. And you're going to hear me talk a lot about that tonight with the way Frank Monica and Ty Monica, who like to be able to make sure they keep the ball inside the sticks, not behind the sticks, and staying on schedule.
And by the way, Ty Monica, the son of Frank Monica, been with him for almost all the years Frank was a head coach. Let's take a look at the keys for a victory for St. Charles Catholic.
Well, I've had the honor to coach with the great head coach, Frank Monica, and I understand exactly where he's coming from. He wants to stay on schedule offensively. That's going to be a huge key for him. And then Riverside needs to make sure tonight they don't put the ball on the ground, don't commit costly penalties, and they eliminate mistakes.
So here comes that big third down and 1 to move the chains and keep the first drive of this football game going. So important in a big rivalry game. And quarterback's going to take it himself. Should have enough for the first down. He gets up to the 32-yard line. That'll move the chains. A 3-yard gain. Now flags are going down. We've got a little extracurricular activity.
Oh, you're going to...
It's a rivalry game.
Well,
it's a rivalry game.
Here's the thing. You're going to probably have some sort of extracurricular after the play right there, just working the bugs out. It'll be some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct right there, and you can see our official right there is pointing towards Silas Phipps, pointing towards Riverside, saying there was some unsportsmanlike conduct, so they're going to tack 15 on to the last play.
Explaining the penalty there to Kendall Martin, one of the defensive backs and a leader on that Riverside defense. They had the first anyway. This just gives them the first with a lot of extra yardage. And there's your first penalty of the ball game.
Well, what this also does, it keeps the ball in St. Charles' hands, moves the ball out to midfield area, and what they're doing is staying on schedule, and they're eating up clock.
At the 47-yard line of St. Charles Catholic, first down. And whistle and flag down on this one.
Well, probably
the play clock ran out on them.
We're going to have a legal procedure there on the Comets. They're going to bag it up 5, and I know that probably will get Coach Monica a little irritated right there. But, I mean, the bottom line is an offense like St. Charles, which is ball control, they want to make sure they're eating up clock and controlling the tempo of the game and keeping the ball inside the chains. And right now they're outside the chains facing a 1st and 15.
Good look at Monica, and he just looks intense, even when he's walking the sideline. But I think Frank was born like that. Frank was just born intense, very intense football coach, especially on game day. And then you get rivalry day, it becomes even bigger than that. And all the yardage back. And a good run that time by Taj Smith. Taj Smith, a senior. It's rushed for 283 yards, gains those 5 penalty yards back.
Well, that was power O. You're going to see Frank Monica in the offense and Ty Monica in the offense tonight run a lot of a certain type of play, which is a gap play called power O, where they will double down at the point of attack and somehow kick out the last man on the line of scrimmage.
Luke, the only running back to protect Nash at quarterback, and the lefty Nash throws. It is caught, dropped. They're saying it's a fumble, and is it a fumble? The officials have not signaled yet. They are calling it a fumble and a Riverside Academy recovery. The officials have met at midfield to discuss it because one was saying fumble, the other was saying incomplete pass, and now the officials huddle, make a decision. Riverside football, fumble.
Well, that was Harrison Heckathorn recovering that fumble, that huge play right there. You'll see the replay. It was that little tight end route right here over the middle. Nice ball thrown, and you can see the ball coming out right there before he even hits the ground from Jacob Jensen. Big turnover play, puts the Rebels in great position right here at the 43-yard line.
We're going to see quarterback Jared Butler. He and Herb McGee both share the quarterback slot. McGee is number 1, Butler is number 11. Don't be surprised if you switch those two guys in and out. Butler has only played in 3 games this year. He had a fractured elbow, and that fracture of the elbow cost him some playing time. He can play either spot. He'll hand off to Sanders. Sanders, one of our players to watch offensively. Look at him as he just plows through the left side, takes people with him like he's pulling a weighted sled across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Take a look at the offensive players to watch. And Sanders, as we said, is one. He's such a good one.
Well, he's been averaging 6.7 yards a game, Ken. And I tell you what, he's big, he's strong, and he's going to have to supply a solid run game tonight for the Rebels in order to be able to make sure they get into the end zone.
Well, they are the Rebels on St. Charles Catholic side of the 50. Here's Sanders again. He's got the first down on that counter, going left with it, and he's down to the 45-yard line of St. Charles Catholic, moving the chains. Let's take a look at some of the key players we'll be watching defensively for St. Charles Catholic, including Eric Lewis, who we talked about on the open because he is Mr. Everything.
3 very good football players right here, and Eric Lewis is Mr. Everything. He's an impact player who's returned an interception for a touchdown last week against Newman. Riverside's going to have to be careful where they're throwing the ball in his vicinity because he can break on it like a bullet.
Nothing open in the middle, so Sanders bounces to the outside and is inside the 45-yard line. Gain of 2 yards for Sanders. Stop made by Justin Dubose.
Counterplay right there. I mean, you look at offenses today, Ken, you get a lot of different formations from the standpoint, but they're running the same old thing. So they're going to run power O's, they're going to counter trays, they're going to run inside, outside zone stretches, bootlegs off of those things. It's just another way to invent from a formation standpoint how to run a play, and they just ran counter tray right there out of a shotgun formation.
And boy, on that counter, Sanders is so effective. He's got it again. And look, he just waits, picks his seam, then just pushes through and takes players with him across the 40, down to the 39-yard line, short of the first down. He'll need about 1.5 to 2 on this third down play coming up.
Well, if you look at him right there, he's 6 foot, 175 pounds, but he's 6 foot, 175 pounds of all muscle. Bill Stubbs says he's one of the hardest workers they have in the weight room, and he's such a competitor. He's an outstanding running back. He's going to have, I tell you what, he's only a sophomore. He's going to have a great high school future, and I tell you what, somebody will like him as a college running back.
He gets it again to pick up the first down, and look at that, just charging full speed ahead over the left side. Legs, bodies flying all over the place. He's got the first down at the 32-yard line. Good numbers, too, on Brandon Sanders. 92 rushes, 614 yards, on his way to a 1,000-yard season for sure.
Well, he's physical. He's a north-south runner. You could see the kick-out block and the seal block right there by DeAndre Wilson, the fullback from Riverside, doing a great job sealing the linebacker, allowing him to get Sanders to get the first down.
This time Butler keeps. Butler escapes on a good twist in the backfield and finds his way along the left sideline for a first down before finally being brought down. And that just goes to show you how elusive Jared Butler, the sophomore quarterback, can be.
Well, I think the word's also athletic. Look at his athleticism right there. He spins, pump fakes, gets down the boundary before he gets knocked out by number 22, Justin Dubose, saving a long, long gain.
13 yards on that gain. Butler only 32 yards rushing on 11 carries because, again, he has played in limited games this year. Only 3 because of the fractured elbow. Healthy now, feeling good, and that frees up Herb McGee to move to either a running back slot or a wideout slot. They haven't thrown the ball to McGee. Watch him. He's number 1 in the slot to the right bottom. Sanders will take it himself instead. Look at him. Jig and jag inside the 15-yard line for a 9-yard gain, close to a first down. And he, in this first series, has been unstoppable.
I'll tell you what, there's a good shot of Herb McGee right there. I tell you what, to date, he's a 6'1", 200-pound, great athlete. He's played quarterback as far as throwing for 6 touchdowns this season. He is an outstanding athlete on the field for the Rebels.
Sanders trying to fight his way in, and he can't, but he loves to scoot to the outside, and that time gets a little help in a friendly gesture from Eric Lewis of none of the people on the St. Charles Catholic side to get up.
Tell you what we're seeing right now, Ken. We're seeing the guys in white, those offensive linemen up front for Riverside, doing a tremendous job controlling the line of scrimmage physically against the St. Charles defensive line. And I tell you what, that is a success for running the ball and being able to run the ball with a lot of success. Look at the splits of the offensive line when we get a shot. You can see right there, they're coming off the ball and they're physically manhandling St. Charles right now.
9th play of the drive right here, and the quarterback will keep it himself. Butler spinning, fighting for the end zone. He's in. Touchdown! Jared Butler, and Riverside, by way of a turnover, a fumble by St. Charles Catholic, takes it down and gets the first points on the board with 5:36 to play in the first quarter.
Well, Ken, turnovers are going to do that to you. You give a turnover up right at midfield, and a solid offense like Riverside can drive the 50 yards and put it in the end zone. I'll tell you what, that was quarterback draw. What an athletic move. He missed 2 Comets in the backfield, got through the rest of the defensive line right there and got into the end zone. What a great effort.
Goche, watching him warm up, if it comes down to a field goal later on, was nailing him after he loosened up from 50 yards out. 7-0, and you'll see Jared Butler keep it and take it with a nice move to the inside, taking tacklers with him for the score. Well, a 9-play, 57-yard drive. It took 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Butler on a 6-yard run to make it 7-0, all coming off the fumble after the completed pass by St. Charles Catholic. And now Tyler Gauthier gets ready to kick it to a few very dangerous return men, including Eric Lewis, who has 3 career touchdowns, kickoff returns for touchdowns, but Gauthier is going to have to give him one. He is known for just sending it out of the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. Dr. Tony Melito of Winning Action stresses the importance of developing the total athlete, both physically and mentally, to compete at the highest level on the field and in life. Call Winning Actions today to learn more about mental training techniques to improve your son or daughter's performance. That's Dr. Tony Melito.
Well, I'll tell you what, I say something good about Tony every week. He's an outstanding guy, does a great job with his business, and he's a good teacher, too. Does a great job at Brother Mark.
Second offensive series for St. Charles Catholic. They'll try the middle, and it's a very tough middle to run against. Looked like somebody's helmet may have popped off. They might have to come out for a play, and they did. The lineman, I think that was Don Chauvin on the offensive line, the left guard, will come out for at least one play. And
at the bottom of that pile with Tyler Lewis. Great penetration right there against the St. Charles Power O offensive play, stacking everything up and coming up with a big play right there at the line of scrimmage.
Loop the running back to protect for Lloyd Nash, the sophomore quarterback, with a man in motion, play action to him. Nash coming to the far side. He's a lefty. This is his strong side. Flag thrown way back by the quarterback. Incomplete pass included for Justin Loop. And let's see what this... they must have hit the quarterback late.
Well, you could probably see
that's a guess.
Right, you're going to probably see a personal foul call
to the head.
right here. There you go. Second one on the night on Riverside right there. Late hit on the sideline. Once again, tacks on 15 to a St. Charles Catholic run right there. And he led with his head.
Yeah, helmet
also
to helmet.
to helmet. I tell you what, Federation rules, leading with that helmet right there, it could have possibly been an ejection. You're not supposed to lead with your helmet in an instance, especially with the helmet to helmet. Coming down, obviously, all the way from the pros down to the high schools, the standpoint of protection of the player on the field. It's quite important, and that's where the rules are going today.
At the 39 of St. Charles, first down. Luke will get it. Luke slants off the right side, looks for room, has a few. This is a tough defense to run against. They're big, they're strong, and many people think they've got the talent offensively and defensively of a Class 5A team. That's LeBeau Bridges, who made the stop with help.
Riverside defense has only been teams have been averaging, 2 yards a game rushing against them. Is that unbelievable? Is that an unbelievable stat? They're only giving up 93 yards rushing per game. 2 yards per carry, is what they've been giving up. That's how stiff this defense has been all year for Bill Stubbs.
Go ahead.
The defensive coordinator, guy named Chris Latchney, does an excellent job with these guys, and he has them ready to play every week.
They're going to mark this penalty off against St. Charles Catholic. And that's their second penalty on their offense.
And it's another encroachment penalty or illegal procedure penalty. Will back them up 5 yards.
A little nervousness because of the big football game, the rivalry, maybe?
Well, that.
A little bit of antsiness with some of the players, maybe?
Well, it's time to settle down. I mean, we're
look at Frank Monica. He's
well, as a player, these guys
have
settled down by now, but they've got to make sure that they're not making illegal procedure penalties.
And that's, I think, what he was telling the coach. Let's get them all settled down. Here comes Smith. Ty Smith bumped out of bounds on a hard hit by Kendall Martin, shoulder to shoulder.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the call. Nice toss sweep. Going to put them back inside the sticks for a third down and manageable play. Offensive coordinators want to be that 3rd and 5 or less. You're going to see toss sweep right here. And you'll see Taj Smith getting to the edge. But I'll tell you what, excellent job out there blocking by those wide receivers. Great job blocking on the edge by Brady Becker, Jeffrey Wagner. Those guys did a great job tying up that secondary, allowing Taj Smith to get to the edge and pick up critical yards.
One thing Frank Monica told us earlier is that he wanted 3rd down and less than 5. He's got it here. It's 3rd down, 4. Nash sets up the screen right side. Smith denied the first down on a hard hit far side by Juwan Bell and Cardez Joseph.
Cardez Joseph comes up like a bullet, makes a great stick right there on the flat route thrown out to Taj Smith. Here we go, flat route, Taj Smith out into the flat, here he comes, zap,
boom,
bang, great stick right there, great physical hit, nice pursuit by that Riverside defense.
For a moment, Monica was thinking about it, didn't send the punt team out on the football field, but now shifts in, gets them out there early. We're down to 3:24 to play in the first quarter. Now again, you're looking at two coaches that both have a variety of trick plays in their playbook. And I've got a feeling that flag thrown, I've got a feeling that Frank Monica, like many other people, have seen earlier film where Riverside was beaten on a halfback option, a fake punt, and a swinging gate for a successful two-point play. So that's got to be in the minds of people playing against Riverside. But now it's 4th and 7, so that probably takes away the opportunity for maybe a fake punt. So take that away, and they will just send it back to the punter, Nicholas Ciano. Ciano sends it on its way. No fair catch call. Fumble! St. Charles has it. Penalty flag, late penalty flag thrown at the 30-yard line. But that was a no fair catch call. Drop of the football. He did not get hit. He just dropped it. Oh, my goodness. And you don't see that very often come from Kendall Martin. He's sure-handed back there as a Riverside punt returner.
I think he was trying to get out the gate before he decided to catch the ball is what happened, but we'll have to see what this flag is. It was in the process of the play, so it's not dead ball, it's live ball, so we'll see what our call is here. Depending on whether it was before the catch or after the catch is going to be the way they're going to make and walk off the penalty. Post-possession or pre-possession will be the way that they're going to mark it off. If it's post-possession, they'll mark it off from that spot.
Well, the officials in a long discussion.
And I'm telling you that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about. Was the penalty post-possession or pre-possession? That's what they're trying to determine right now. Because that's going to make a difference on where they will assess the penalty.
Our referee tonight is Silas Phipps.
First rule of thumb, Ken, first of all, catch the ball before you run. And I think he was trying to get out the gate. You know, so
and that's part of what we just talked about. Wade, you've coached in big rivalry games before. How do you settle a team down when you can tell just by little things that we're looking at that players are a little antsy, a little nervous, maybe trying to make things? How do you settle them down?
You put them in positions where they can execute the plays that you've worked all week. You make sure you call the right things that gives them the obvious chance to be able to get some sort of type of momentum going, confidence going, things of that nature. And tonight, and we're only
looking at Billy Stubbs, now looking at Frank Monica.
Right, we're only 2:41 left in the first quarter, but I tell you, there's going to have waves tonight of emotion the rest of the night. And
yes,
turnovers, penalties, things of that nature. It's who eliminates those that's going to come out on top.
Well, we saw both coaches waiting for an explanation. Here it is.
All right, it was a legal block in the back, and it was pre-possession. So instead of taking it back and marking it off, all right, they're going to do it pre-possession. They'll decline it and take the ball where it is. Here,
Kendall Martin.
Right there, he's trying to get out the gate right there, and just drops the ball, puts it on the ground.
Somebody may have reached in, grabbed his hand, grabbed his arm, and that's what jarred it loose.
Right, and then Johnny on the spot was number 32, Dakota Hicks. Right there, Johnny on the spot. Number 32, Tyler Sanders. Right there, Johnny on the spot, falling on that ball. Great recovery, sets up the short porch here for St. Charles Catholic.
Wow, what a turn of events here to give St. Charles Catholic an opportunity to tie this game up here in the first quarter, just when it looked like the momentum was swinging in Riverside's favor. Oh, here we go. Ty Smith around the right side looking for room, finally brought down after a gain of a few.
attacking the flank with the speed sweep. You see a lot of this on Saturdays now. You're seeing it in the pro game where they're bringing a receiver across the formation at full speed and handing the ball off, trying to get the ball outside onto the flank and trying to get the edge. And that's what we saw right there at Taj Smith. Once again, St. Charles stays in between the chains, brings up a second and about 7 or 8.
Little Lloyd Nash, only a sophomore, but he's given him 3 weeks of play at the junior or senior level. As a lefty, throws, hits Becker down to the 11-yard line, falling forward to the 10-yard line. Flag thrown again, however, so hold everything.
It looks like it's coming back. It looks like you got penalty against St. Charles.
So my goodness, let's see what happens here. Chop block.
Shot block, that's a 15-yard penalty from the from the spot of the penalty. So wherever this chop block happened, they'll back it up 15 yards from the spot of the foul and play second down. Let's see if we can see it on our look here. Bang, right there.
Boom, there it was.
Well, let me tell you something. Frank's involved in getting the next call in, Coach Montague, but I saw a center make a chop right there, but I'm not going to agree with the official right there on that particular call, and I'll explain why later, but I don't know if that was actually what I would call a chop block.
That was St. Charles Catholic's 4th penalty now for 30 yards here in the first quarter. Nash wants it all in the end zone. He's got Becker, and he overthrows him. Becker had a half step and had just beaten Hardell Mack by a little bit, but the pass had a little too much zip on it.
Well, I'm going to get back to that chop block again. Let me tell you what a legal block below the knees is. It's when somebody ties up the defensive lineman and somebody comes in through and takes his legs out on purpose. There's a couple of rules that you have to have in order to have a legal block below the knees. One is both people have to be on the line of scrimmage. The ball has to be behind the line of scrimmage and has not left the box yet. And both people have to have it as their initial charge.
3rd down now. Big 3rd down and 14. Blitz is on. Rush. Nash gets by it. Nash grabbed by the jersey and pulled down as he breaks into the red zone. Short of the first down, however. And that'll bring up 4th down and decision time for Frank Monica. It'll be 4th and probably about 5 or 6. We've got a St. Charles Catholic player down at the 32-yard line on the far side. Another look at that nice run by Nash. Needed the tearaway jersey. Didn't have it.
Nobody open. Looks downfield, tucks it up, and tearaway jerseys. You're dating yourself.
Yeah, I am. They don't use them anymore. I know, but it was just
you don't see those
just a
anymore.
thought. Just a thought. We'll take a break and update you on the injured player when we come back. Riverside by a touchdown. St. Charles Catholic driving. The injured player was Justin Luke, the starting running back, but he was up and jogged off the field and will stand on this. Matter of fact, he's going right back in the game, so he's okay. Justin Luke, they're going to hold him out for one play. So he was ready to go back in, and they called him and said, got to sit out for one play.
Got to sit out
for one play.
And they'd like to go for the field goal here. I think that's a wise decision, getting on the board.
Got to get it on. Got to get the points on. You got Nicholas Ciano. He's got a long of fifth. You've got Andrew Rodrigue. This is his range. He's kicked the 34. It's a fake field goal. Nash, the quarterback, caught from behind. Fumble. He was tackled. Officials say no fumble. The ball was down when he was tackled. So the fake field goal fails, and Riverside holds. Another look at it.
Ball on the tee. He gets up and starts sprinting to his left. Pulled down from behind. Didn't fool number 24. Jadjuan Bell comes off the backside edge and pulls him down. Look, I like the call. I think it's a defensive call at that particular time. Just was not executed very well. Jajon Bell doing a great, or Jajuan, I'm butchering that name. Mr. Bell does a great job coming off the backside, doing a great job reading and figuring that out, sneaking in from the backside and pulling him down. Mr. Bell. I'm just going to call him Mr. Bell.
Well, it's Riverside ball, and they dodge a bullet on first down. Butler will throw long. Almost a catch by Goche, the kicker, who's also an excellent wide receiver, but he had it, bobbled it, couldn't hold it.
Well, you're going to see the official throws his hat with the sign of throwing his hat on the boundary there that he was out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds.
And he was not able to come back in and catch the ball. Fade route, nice ball thrown by Jared Butler right here. You can see he's out of bounds right there. There goes the hat. Great job on the coverage by Chase Snowdy, looking and leaning right into the receiver down.
We saw the shot of Frank Monica after. He wanted to make sure the officials knew he was out of bounds on that. There was no doubt. Butler rolling left, throwing against the grain, incomplete, almost intercepted.
Should have been intercepted. Right there, Johnny, on the spot was Eric Lewis. Hit him right in the hands. Say it every week. No better place to hit somebody than in the hands. Got to catch that ball. That would have been a huge pick right there for Eric Lewis, who is the tackle leader for St. Charles Catholic, and he's got 2 interceptions on the year, and last week he ran one back for a touchdown, which I talked about in our pregame show.
As suddenly, Riverside finds themselves in a 3rd and long, 3rd down 10 at their own 31-yard line. Butler still at quarterback. We haven't seen any switching off there. Now he'll go to McGee. McGee's first catch of the game, and look at the explosive McGee get the first down, take it into St. Charles Catholic territory, and bring it down all the way to the 42-yard line.
Wow, what an athlete, huh? Herb McGee. I'll tell you what, 6'1",
27-yard gain.
He comes out of there with that ball like a bullet. Great throw, great catch. Jared Butler puts it right on the money off the read right there. Boom. Right into the seam route. Hits Herb McGee on the run. Nice pickup.
Excellent football player, also excellent basketball player. We'll chat about that a little bit later on. That time the pass to McGee was over his head. McGee wasn't expecting it. Little mix-up and miscommunication on that one. You can see the frustration of McGee as he turns toward the Riverside sideline.
Also a little mix-up and frustration right there, too. And I can see Coach Monica a little upset about this. Offensive lineman downfield right there. The ball was thrown forward past the line of scrimmage where the wide receiver was, too. I'm surprised that they didn't get a lineman downfield call right there.
There's Billy Stubbs working on that little communication problem that the boys had just a moment ago. 2nd down, 10. He's going long for McGee. McGee had outrun everybody, closing fast. From the other side was Justin Dubose, but a penalty marker is down. Talk about balance of a football team, right. And I want to talk about that with Riverside. Riverside on their first drive rushed the ball 9 times, threw I think 1 pass. They've already thrown 5 passes on this drive.
Right. Well, this right here puts them back with a holding penalty. It looked like it possibly could have been on their right guard right there, and that's going to take them back 15 yards from the spot. It's going to put them second in a decade.
Moves the ball all the way back to their own 45, and they have to go to the St. Charles Catholic 32 for the first down. Butler with the fake pump, in trouble. He spits away from the would-be tackler, and then doesn't hit the wide open receiver, Herb McGee. Everybody was in the backfield chasing Jared Butler, and McGee was open, but Butler threw it behind him.
Comets had that smelled out. They had double wide receiver screens on both sides. The Comets sticking right to those receivers, had everything covered, no place for him to go, but look at the athleticism right there, Butler getting away.
I mean, Trent Mattis had him. Trent Mattis just had him dead to naught.
Almost.
And he got away.
Almost a huge play right there, starting on the athletic talent of Jared Butler.
I think even Trent Mattis was surprised. How did he get away? So here's 3rd down now. They're just going to go with a run, keep it in the sure hands of Sanders, and Sanders will only get a few yards, so St. Charles Catholic forces Riverside into a punting situation on 4th and still very, very long.
I'll tell you what, those 15-yard holding penalties are drive killers. I mean, that's offensive coordinators, they just that puts a stake in them when they're trying to get something going. All of a sudden, you're going to get a 15-yard from the spot of the foul. If the holding penalty was in the backfield, it ends up being 1st and 20.
Goche shanked one off the right side of his foot. and it'll go out of bounds. He won't get very much on this one, but a penalty marker is down at the 43-yard line. And while it is, and while they sort that out, let's remind you that Riverside and St. Charles Catholic fans, Mellow Mushroom will donate 10% of your order to your school's athletics department through Saturday night. Stop by the Metairie or the Covington location and tell your server to give back to your school with the best pizza in town. And don't forget to stay mellow with the Mellow Mushroom. Only an 11-yard punt off the shank, something you don't see very often.
Well, it looks like one of my 9-hour shots, Ken. I mean, it came off the blade, and I put it in the water.
I've learned to stand right in front of you when you hit that club, too, so that's the safest place. St. Charles Catholic football with 22 seconds to play in the first quarter. Penalty against Riverside. St. Charles Catholic declines that, and why wouldn't you, with the punt that only travels 11 yards and gives you good field position? So,
well, once again, it was pre-possession, so they would have had to take it back from the spot, walk it off, and re-kick it again. And that's what the Comets did not want to do, take it in great field position right here at the 41-yard line.
So here's Lloyd Nash, the sophomore quarterback, with protectors on each side of him. He'll hand it off, and this time Ty Smith has a little bit of running room, and he gets it up to the 47-yard line, a gain of about 5.
Draw play right there coming up from the secondary, doing a nice job. Trey Catois, Jared Hemel from his linebacker position getting in there. Nice job on the draw play, though. Opened up a nice hole by the Comet offensive line.
Now that's the end of the first quarter, and after one, Riverside with a 1-touchdown, 7-0 lead over St. Charles Catholic in the River Parish rivalry. After one quarter in this big River Parish rivalry, 7-0 Riverside. St. Charles Catholic with the football, good field position near midfield. Looking at second down, a little bit more than 5. Ty Smith again. He's been the workhorse on this drive, and it'll be third and very short yardage. He missed it by about a yard.
Running right at that Rebel defense.
Well, it's a defense that doesn't, as you said, doesn't give up many yards and many points. They're only allowing, as a defense, 93 yards rushing a game, 98 yards passing a game. They're stingy.
The stat I liked was runners, the running game, a play, running the ball, only giving up 2 yards per carry. How about that? I mean, that is a sign of an extremely good defensive front.
They make you work for it. They make you work very, very hard for it. And Ty Smith straight ahead, working hard. And he's got the first down. That time he plowed through and was tackled by Kendall Martin.
You're going to see belly play right there. Reverse out, hand the ball to the fullback right there. Tim Williams on that play. All right, runs the belly, sticks it right up into the A-gap, and does a good job right there getting his shoulder pads low and getting himself in there and falling forward for the first down.
Justin Loop was winded a little earlier. He's okay. Look at that power backfield. Lloyd Nash moves him around to his right side. Bad snap. When it goes over his head, Nash will just run on it and jump on it back at the 39-yard line. Wow, tough break there. 15-yard loss.
Well, you can see the snap over his head. He does a nice job just falling on the ball, so they're going to pick up and take off on a second down and extremely long right here. Those are things that you got to eliminate. That is as bad as a penalty. And you want to make sure that you try not to get yourself in that situation. Good look at Lloyd Nash right there, the young sophomores who does a great job.
Here's second down and long. Nash almost tackled for a big loss, breaks free, and saves a little bit of positive yardage on the far side, all the way up to the 43-yard line. Gain of 4, still a long way for a first down. Well, so Nash.
I saw Nash dive on the football right there with the snap over his head. He's an outstanding athlete. He does some great things on the baseball field too, as you can see right there. Look at that. Wow. Is that athletic or what? What a great athlete. He wears number 11 in baseball, number 5 in football.
Started as an outfielder, as a freshman, and I like the way he whipped that ball back into the infield with the left hand. Not bad at all.
Fine
there was a penalty on the play.
It was another late hit by the Riverside Rebels, possibly a face mask, and moved the ball 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
Moves it down to the 42-yard line. That makes it second down, but it's at least manageable now. Second down and 8 at the 42 of Riverside. Long drive by St. Charles Catholic. Nash with the big rush, set up the screen to the right side. Becker with it. Becker has the first down, and Becker's down to the 32-yard line.
Commonly known as a jailbreak screen, bringing the receiver down the offensive line, just behind the line of scrimmage, releasing the offensive lineman out in front of the receiver and hitting him quick in front of where the offensive line was. You'll see it right there, bang, getting behind those big offensive linemen downfield and trying to find a seam and getting up the field. Nice execution right there by Brady Becker. 24 catches, 370 yards, 2 TDs on the season so far. He's a fine wide receiver that does a great job finding himself a place to get open in a lot of zone defenses and creating throwing opportunities for the Comet offense.
Well, a new set of downs to work with. First down for St. Charles Catholic, keeping this drive alive. Just outside the 32-yard line in Riverside territory. He wants it all. Nash going long down the left sideline, and it is knocked the way intended for Dane Audemars.
Well, they pump fake right there, the jailbreak screen. And if you'll notice, the key to that was there were no offensive linemen downfield that time. So they pump fake the screen to Brady Becker. Here's the pump fake, boom. And then they're trying to hit the vertical down the sideline to Dane Audemars, who was in coverage by
Jawan Bell.
Mr. Bell. I'm not attempting the first name, Mr. Bell. Great athlete, does a great job covering right there, the vertical route by Audemars.
8th play of the drive coming up right now for St. Charles Catholic on second down 10. Look at the time. Nash has all day, has a man wide open and fires it to Ciano. Ciano knocked out of bounds near the 20-yard line. That'll be very close to a first down. I think he's got another one.
Boy, Nash does a nice job as a sophomore getting flushed out of the pocket right here. You'll see him set his feet, then he's going to get flushed. He'll move to his right, and he'll find his tight end, Ciano, right over on the boundary. Good catch, gets up the field.
And remember, this is a sophomore quarterback. He wasn't supposed to play. This should have been Patrick Ratliff's, the seniors team. But 3 weeks ago, Ratliff got the concussion and still has not returned. So next man up, Lloyd Nash. And Nash has really answered the call. You'd be proud of him, Coach.
Well, he's answered the call, and it's the next man up, and that's what you have to do when you want to have a good football team, is understand that premise.
Loop, Justin Loop, look at him just push forward and push a pile of players inside the 15-yard line down to about the 13-yard line.
Does a great job on the power roll right here, but I want you to see the kick-out block right, boom, right there by number 60, John Campbell. Kicks out the defensive end from Riverside and allows Luke to get inside the block and get vertical up the field. Tell you what, I like it when those offensive linemen get those kick-out blocks. They're hard-nosed, sticking their shoulder pad in there. There he is right there, John Campbell, 5'11", 220-pound senior. I love talking about offensive linemen.
And here's the give. One more time, it'll be Ty Smith, and Smith inside the 10-yard line. St. Charles Catholic, very methodical, very slow, protecting the football, doing what they have to do.
Well, they're controlling the pace of the game. They're controlling where they are in regards to the sticks. They're getting a few penalties here and there from Riverside that's helping them on their drive, and thus it's set the ball up now inside the 10-yard line. This has got to be a situation that the Comets have got to come away with some points on.
One of the best defenses is to keep Butler and McGee off the field with long, sustained drives. Here is the give once again. Ty Smith. Smith caught in the backfield and a good shoestring tackle by Garland Robertson as he fell forward, but got nothing on it.
Tell you
No
what,
gain.
Garland Robinson comes out of nowhere and makes a great tackle
where
right
did
there.
it come from?
We'll see it right here on the replay. Here comes the counter play right there. There's the kick out, and here he is right there. Great play, great shoestring tackle. A little excitement by number 8, Garland Robinson. I tell you what, nice job by that safety, Garland Robinson.
This drive started back toward the end of the first quarter, and now we have almost 70. The clock is at 7 minutes to play in the first half. And here goes Loop over the right side, trying to not stumble his way to the ground before he gets into the end zone, but he doesn't. It's going to be very, very close. It's going to be at the 2-yard line.
Watch the kick out block right here by Tyler Sandifer, the fullback from the Comets. Gets a good kick out block, and you're going to get the wraparound block by John Campbell, again, number 60, getting getting Justin Loop up into the hole.
This is the 13th play of this drive. Again, a drive that started in the first quarter. We have 6.5 minutes to play in the second quarter before halftime. Full house backfield. Nash works under center. Play action. He'll throw into the end zone. He threw it too short. However, Ty Smith was pretty well covered and was going down too. Incomplete.
Decision time here. 4th and goal inside the 5.
You're at the 2. It's like a 2-point conversion. Tough call here for the coach, Frank Monica. Lloyd Nash waiting for the call to come from the coach.
Timeout, Comets. Tell you what, had the receiver wide open in end zone, just was a little underthrown. Would have been 6 right there for the Comets.
We'll take a break and come back to find out whether St. Charles Catholic goes for the field goal or the touchdown right after this.
Kicking the 3.
All right, they're going to kick the field goal. In comes Andrew Rodriguez. And this will be a 19-yarder if they kick it. Remember, last time it was a fake. So let's see if he pushes it through. He will kick it. This is like an extra point, and it is good. So St. Charles Catholic is on the board with an Andrew Rodriguez field goal, and he is now 3 for 3 on field goals this year. So points on the board, very important right there, Coach, because, it's tempting to go for it, but if you go for it, don't make it, you've been sapped of momentum for the rest of the half.
Well, I'll tell you what you didn't see right there. As they're bringing their field goal team out on the field, they split the wide receiver wide right on the boundary to see if anybody from Riverside was going to go out there to follow them and cover them. Riverside was heads up, doing a good job. They cover the wide receiver, Will Torres. They bring him into the formation, and so there was possibly a fake right there on that could have taken place.
Time now for Traditions, presented by Joseph A. Bank, the new tradition since 1905 with locations downtown in Metairie and in Mandeville. In the 2011 Class 2A state championship game, Brandon Zimmer's 3-yard run put St. Charles Catholic ahead 6-0 in the first quarter. Then late in the game, trying to preserve a 1-point lead, Lazedrick Thompson, who later went to Tulane, converts on 4th and 1 to preserve the Comets' first win and their first ever state title, 9-8 over Amite. What a time. What a great moment for Coach Frank Monica and the St. Charles Catholic Comets. 7-3. Rodriguez sends it to the 5-yard line. And here comes the return. Explosive returners on the Riverside team. This time it is Kendall Martin who brought it back.
Great coverage right there by St. Charles, keeping them inside the 30, just over the 25-yard line, 27-yard line right there. Great coverage, getting down there and tackling Kendall Martin, a tough return guy for the Riverside offense.
Coach Billy Stubbs' Rebels have 6 minutes and 6 seconds to work with here, with a 7-3 lead at their own 28-yard line. Butler remains at quarterback, and he's in trouble, and somehow he manages to just find his way back to the line of scrimmage while still wrapped up by Jonathan Scaparo.
There's quarterback draw, quarterback counter draw, where they're pulling offensive lineman trying to get a kick out. Let's run all the way by the quarterback. He's to set his feet, try to set up that if it's a pass. They got pulling an offensive lineman in front of him, so that's the first key for a defensive guy that he's going to run the football. So
got to be looking for Herb McGee. They just haven't used him enough. He's in the slot at the top of your screen, and now Butler looks for him, finds him. It's McGee. McGee at the 45 up to the 48-yard line of the first down. Boy, sure enough, it's just as we say it. You know they're looking for this young man, Herb McGee.
Well, you got to get the ball into your weapons, and he is one of the weapons that Riverside has, and you can see a nice throw and catch right there, hitting the seam. Good saving tackle by Justin DuBose right there, the Comets. What an outstanding athlete Herb McGee is. 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a great basketball player, great football player. You know, they have packages for him on offense where he can run the ball.
He's in motion now after that 20-yard gain, but they go the opposite way, right off the hands of Tyler Goche. Incomplete. That'll bring second down. Yeah, Herb McGee brings the entire package. He's rushed for 275 yards. Look at him right there. He's in motion as the decoy that time. And that led Goche a little bit, but catchable football.
Got to catch that football. I mean, that hit him right in the hands. He needed to catch that. The 5'10", 180-pound receiver has 13 receptions on the year and 153 yards. That's usually something that he doesn't catch.
Good numbers for Jared Butler. And here's Butler throwing again. This time he's got Goche, who spins toward the sideline, gets the first down and a whole lot more before being pushed out of bounds near the 25-yard line of St. Charles Catholic. And on this drive, you're seeing how explosive the passing game, especially the passing game of Riverside, can be. And don't forget, they haven't even used number 2. They haven't used Brandon Sanders at the running back slot yet on this drive.
Well, it's play action right there. A little hitch route by Gauthier. Not a very good job by Jay Snowdy right there. Lost outside leverage. First thing you don't do on an instance like that as a DB is lose outside leverage on the receiver, and he lost it. And that's the big gain.
Well, they used Sanders this time, and St. Charles Catholic is there. They were waiting for him, and they just absolutely smother him. Charge led by Jalen Gordon on the defensive line.
Well, you know, Sanders right there just didn't have any place to go. Great job by number 99, Jalen Gordon from the St. Charles Catholic defensive line. You know, you're going to see St. Charles Catholic line up in a 5-man line tonight, and then they'll sometimes get into a 4-man line by taking out one of their defensive linemen and bringing in another linebacker. And you can see right now that they are back into their 4-man line.
At the 30-yard line, this is a quarterback draw all the way. Butler with the keep, and he's inside the 25-yard line. So he got the lost yardage and a little bit more back.
Tell you what, great effort right there by Jared Butler. They like to use him on those quarterback draws. You know, they've passed the ball a few times, gotten into Herb McGee's hands and gotten into Goche's hands. So they're going to fake the pass right here, set up, and create a crease and let him get up the field.
A third down, so unless Riverside wants to settle for a field goal, they're going to have to find a way to get 7 out of this one. So they are at the 28-yard line, 24-yard line. Just inside the 24. Here's Butler from the gun, has a lot of time to run into wide open real estate. Spin move at the 15, and that gets him into the end zone for the touchdown. What a move by Jared Butler. My goodness. A big-time player making an explosive play, 24 yards for the score.
Well, he was looking to his right there, looking for Herb McGee or for Gauthier, and they were both covered. And he decides to tuck it, take it up the field, and I tell you what, he put a move on somebody at about the 10-yard line.
And
I tell you what, that young man's picking up his socks. Great move, great athletic talent in Jared Butler.
Wow. Tyler Gauthier to try to put the exclamation point on that run, and he does. Kicks it up good, 14-3. Riverside with 3:21 to play. Watch this move again. There's Butler. He realizes, I've got a lot of room to run. Watch the spin move right there. Whoa! Touchdown. NBC Bank Prep Showcase is live next Saturday for the highly anticipated first ever Catholic League meeting between Archbishop Rummel and John Curtis. Our coverage begins at 2 p.m. live on WHNO and SportsNOLA.com. That's Rummel and Curtis next week on the first NBC Bank Prep Showcase. And again, the strong foot of Tyler Gauthier kicks it out of the end zone. It'll come out to the 20. Let's go downstairs to Stephanie Altman for our report.
Thank you, Ken. It's not often that John Curtis loses, but if anyone knows about beating the Patriots, it's Riverside coach Bill Stubbs. As a coach at Salmon, Stubbs defeated the Patriots 3 times in the Class 4A playoffs. Stubbs left Salmon in 2001 and was out of coaching for an entire decade before coming to Riverside, where he's now in his 4th season with the Rebels. Ken, back to you.
Yeah, Billy Stubbs will say when he talks to people, and they'll immediately bring that up. Hey, how do you beat JT? How do you beat John Curtis, man? You did it so many times. Tell us how to do that. He has a career 3-2 record against them right now, and not many people can say that against the Curtis Patriots. Well, and there's a little toss and completion to Jensen.
And if you talk to Billy Stubbs about those days he was at Salmon, he had some tremendous athletes. He had an excellent coaching staff. There's a
3 state titles right
there. Great coaching staff. And I was talking to him earlier tonight. I said, how you enjoying being back in it? And he says, man, I tell you what, I just sit around and let all my coaches, because he has a great staff coach. And and that's he did a lot of that same thing at Salmon. Hires good people, let him do a good job coaching.
Almost picked off by Juwan Bell, who would have been off to the races, or was that Hardell Mack? That was Hardell Mack, who came from nowhere and almost picked it off. Wow, he would have been into the end zone for another quick score.
Well, that's one of those young sophomore mistakes you make as a quarterback. You don't want to leave the ball out there. You're trying to throw to the opposite hash mark.
It was a
from
floater.
One hash mark all the way floated out to the other sideline, and it just seemed to hang into the air for so long. And here comes Hardell Mack out of nowhere, this 5'9", 160-pound blur coming out there, almost had a pick 6.
White plays a good defensive back slot. 3rd down. Little less than 4 flags all over the place. Illegal procedure, St. Charles Catholic. This is going to make it 3rd and long. The one thing Frank Monica said was a key to the game was don't get in 3rd and long, and don't make mistakes with penalties that help you get to 3rd and long. And right there, St. Charles Catholic did both.
That's a 3rd illegal procedure penalty tonight. Those are killers. They back you up, and now he's in a 3rd and an unmanageable down. And that's something at halftime I know Frank is going to make sure that he addresses with his football team. I'm sure he's also going to address it with the officials on the way off the field, too.
2 minutes and 38 seconds to play before halftime. 2:38. And now it's 3rd down and 8 instead of 3rd and 3. Lloyd Nash, one protector. Back there with him. Throws incomplete. Now picked off after the bobble. Here comes Harrison Hackathorn, and he will take it the distance. But a flag is down, so hold everything. This one might be coming back. Hold everything. Let's let the officials sort this out.
It got bounced in the air. It's the old tip drill, Ken.
Yeah.
Right there, right into Heckathorn's hands, and he takes it the distance. Holding penalty against the Rebels.
It'll be declined, and the touchdown will stand. So Harrison Heckathorn, his first interception of the year, and he returns it for a touchdown. Evan Veron's got 2. Joseph has 1. And there's the 4th INT for this defense, and he returns it 26 yards for the touchdown.
It's holding penalties like that. They hurt you right there. Turnovers hurt you even worse. Second on the night for the Comets.
Goche makes it look easy. 21-3, and right when you think St. Charles Catholic is going to eat up the clock and drive down for maybe a touchdown or a field goal to make this a little closer football game, the interception again for the young sophomore quarterback. Big game, he's only been playing the last 3 weeks. When Ratliff, the senior, went out with a concussion, I don't think he's played in the game of this magnitude yet, and maybe he's a little bit nervous too.
Well, I mean, I don't, in an instance like that, he delivers the ball, puts it in traffic, it gets tipped around, and it's just the way things turned out. You got to credit the Riverside defense right there, though, for being Johnny on the spot. Heckathorn right there with the old tip drill right into his hands. And, that's a sign of a good defense, forcing turnovers, and when the ball's in the air, making something happen for your advantage.
Oh, Billy Stubbs might have all of his athletes going to the mental edge. Who knows? Because athletes are constantly searching for a physical edge in sports. But what about the mental edge? At Winning Actions, Dr. Tony Melito teaches athletes how to focus, control negative thinking, and perform under pressure. Call Winning Actions today to boost your son or daughter's confidence in sports, school, and in life. 21-3, 2.5 minutes, 2:30 to play in the first half, and what a momentum changer that was as Tyler Goche just sends this one deep, as he has every kickoff in this game for Riverside. Coach, it's good when they can't return a kick. When they got to go 80 yards from the 20, it's a whole lot better than taking that chance. You may force a fumble, you may get them, you may tackle them inside the 20, but would you rather have the opposition at the 20 every time?
That's big for your defense. Every time somebody's got to start a drive at a 20-yard line, it's huge. So having a weapon like Goche putting the ball inside or out of the end zone every time is just something that's a huge plus for your football team.
All right, let's see if Lloyd Nash, the little quarterback, can shake that off now and just come out and quarterback this team. Drops back, nobody back there with him, throws a little screen pass over the middle. All kind of penalty markers are down. Justin Loop had nowhere to go after catching the football. Let's see what it's all about.
Trying to run a middle screen right there. I think we're going to see a hold on the St. Charles Comets.
There it is. Wow, this is going to drive Frank Monica crazy because he's got to be just frustrated as anything.
Well,
he talked all week about no penalties. It's a key to the game. He knows it. Key to the game. Don't back ourselves up in a tight game, tough game like this.
Well, holding penalties are going to do that to you. They're killers now. He's facing a
half the distance, go back to the 10. And guess what here? Now you open up all kind of things for the Riverside defense to do. So Frank Monica's got to work with this sophomore quarterback and put him in a position that some type of a blitz or fancy defensive maneuver doesn't get him into more trouble. The old coach.
Well, he's going to have to settle him down, put him in situations that are going to allow him to have the best success for him and his offense.
Just give it on a delay, right up the middle, nowhere to go, but right now just playing it safe as the clock ticks under 2 minutes, 1:56, and counting, 1:55. It'll stop. Second down, timeout called.
Well, I'm sure timeout was called by Riverside right there, thinking that they're going to get a chance to get the ball back, keeping them in a situation where they can try to tack on some more points before
Right, it'll be second down when we resume play now.
So,
second down.
Stopping the clock, second down. They're going to probably want to call another timeout again after third down and try to make sure that they get the ball back, like I said, to try to put some more points on the board.
If you're injured on Friday, the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute is open on both the North and South Shore for a Saturday morning clinic. Ochsner Sports Medicine, the region's most comprehensive sports medicine services. So 1:55 to play first half, 21-3 Riverside used their first of 3 timeouts. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining, but St. Charles would, I think, just like to get this first half over, regroup in the locker room. Riverside, meanwhile, they're going to use those timeouts and try to get that football back. Look for, I think, with a young sophomore, inexperienced quarterback who has played very well, but again, in a football game of this magnitude, much different. Nash drops back. He's going to throw long. Man coverage far side. Tipped up and almost caught by Odemar.
Nice coverage right there by Hardell Mack again. Had a great position of a looking lane position on the wide receiver of Odemar. And I tell you what, that was close to being picked off right there. But if it's picked at that particular point, might have served as a punt at that particular point too.
Yeah, Hardell almost had it. And then because he tipped it up, it almost goes to Dane Odemar anyway. Hardell Mack.
Clock stops right
147.
there. Right on the incomplete, with Riverside still having a couple of timeouts left.
So they didn't have to use it there. It's 3rd down and forever. Here comes the big rush screen pass set in for Becker, and he lost his balance and goes down at about the 12-yard line. So St. Charles Catholic will have to punt this football away, and Nicholas Ciano averages 39 yards a punt, almost 40 yards a punt. They're going to need one of his best right here, because with 1:41 to go and Riverside calling a timeout to stop the clock, they're going to have a lot of time. You want them to go as far down the field as they will have to go. If you're interested in purchasing a DVD copy of today's game, and this is a good one, send an email to prep at sportsnola.com, or call our offices at 504-681-0120 during normal business hours. You will receive a reply with more information on how to purchase your DVD.
Well, I'm sure that's going to be Kendall Martin back here returning this punt. So I tell you what, you're going to have to, right here with St. Charles's back to their end zone, having to have to punt this ball out of there, you got to do a couple things. Number one, they're going to have to get the snap out of there and get the kick out versus any type of pressure. But the next thing they've got to do is they've got to do a great job covering this punt.
Well, Nicholas Ciano is 5 yards deep in his end zone. His long, by the way, is 57. So if he ever wanted to give him one of those, now would be the time. Kendall Martin to return, stands at the 50. He fumbled one, really didn't fumble it on his own, had his hand stripped away from the football back on the first series. Fair catch called for and made at the 46-yard line. So good field position for Riverside. They'll have 1:35 to work with, 1 minute 35 seconds, and they are they'll actually mark it at the 45-yard line of St. Charles Catholic after a 36-yard punt by Nicholas Ciano.
Well, it was a great punt right there, and I tell you what, great coverage, forced the fair catch by Martin. And now, St. Charles Catholic defense is going to have to stiffen up, and it's going to be fun to watch this Riverside offense operate at a probably a quicker pace to be able to try to get some points out of this. Remember, they've got a field goal kicker that's got a 50-yard leg.
Got a 50-yard leg, and remember, this is an offense that can go very up-tempo. We have not seen it in this game, but they like the high-powered Indy 500 tempo. Here goes Gibson, his first carry of the night. He'll turn it up, and he's to the 40-yard line. Riverside has, I believe, 1 timeout remaining. They've got 2 on the scoreboard, but I believe they've used 2, and they have 1 remaining. Second down, 7. Butler will hand off again, and Riverside keeping it on the ground. I think they're trying to get just close enough for a field goal try, but they're going to have to open it up with the passing game on 3rd down. 1:04 to play in the first half. Clock is stopped as a timeout was called, so that should be the final timeout for Riverside.
Well, that's you could run the ball a couple times there with the timeout that you have left to see if you can pop something. So now they're faced with a 3rd and 7 situation. They're going to have to be able to come up with some play to make sure they keep these sticks moving. You know, the thing about, I talked about it in our pregame show tonight about the power rating and how the implications of this game are going to play out. And you can see right there the power ratings for the Division III. You can see where Riverside sitting at 1 and St. Charles sitting at 4. So, you know, if it would win today, Riverside would get obviously the 16th seed because that's what the bracket is in Division III. 16 teams make the bracket without any buys. So it would be a great bracket right there. So they're all playing for that position. You could see possible, if things ended today, Riverside and St. Charles would probably end up meeting each other again in the semifinals.
It's very possible these two teams will see each other at least one more time. Well, one more time. It can't be at least one more time. One more time. Butler. Screen pass to Sanders. Oh, Sanders bounces off of it, but he gets gang tackled. Sometimes that's the only way to stop him. He'll bounce off the first, but you'll need help. And a lot of help came from Lance Snowden and others.
Justin Dubose right there coming up, making a nice stick. Is that Snowden?
That Snowden misses the first one.
Misses the first hit, but he comes up right there, slows everything down for everybody else to pursue out there and force a fourth down.
Well, it's 4th and 10, so they're going to let the clock run all the way down. It's way out of the range of their kicker, Tyler Goche, even though we did see him easily convert with extra yards to spare from the 43-yard line. He was hitting them from 53 in practice, but again, that's in warm-ups prior to the game. That's Tyler Goche, number 18.
They took a delay of game penalty right here.
We'll take a good look at number 9 back there because that is Jordan Loving, and that should have been the quarterback all year, but he hurt his back playing baseball at Riverside, and it just hasn't come back. He thought he was going to be able to play, and he now realizes he's going to be out for the entire year. He's 6'3", 205, quarterback all last year. He's a sophomore. It'll be his team next year. And think of that team with Jared Butler. Of course, McGee's a senior. He'll be gone next year, but think of that. But, wow. Good baseball player, too.
Well, he's an outstanding athlete. I think from the back that he injured, he had surgery on it, and it just isn't ready to come back into action yet. So I'm sure he's going to try to get the thing healed up and get ready for his baseball season.
He's coached by Frankie Cazzo over at Riverside, coaches the baseball program and also the middle school football program over there, one of the feeder systems into the Riverside high school football program. Good look at Timmy Burden basketball. Cazzo's won a state title at Rummel, and my goodness, we talked about Bill Stubbs, 3 at Salmon. So you've got a coaching staff throughout the school, not just with football, that's got a lot of coaching experience and just a lot of state championship experience, a lot of big game experience. There's a big rush, but they punted away Goche with a good punt. He's going to get a Riverside roll on this one. It'll be down with 7 seconds to play in the first half of this football game, and a 21-3 lead by Riverside over St. Charles Catholic, who I would expect just to take a knee and take it into the locker room here.
Can't have any mistakes down here, inside your own 10-yard line. Almost blocked right there. Great rush, great special teams effort right there by the Comets. Almost got a hand on that ball.
So let's see if the Comets here just decide to take a knee, go into the locker room, regroup, or do they want this young sophomore quarterback throw one long? You got a guy playing deep center field. Be hard to move the football. He takes the knee. That'll end the first half with Riverside leading the St. Charles Catholic Comets 21-3 in the Big River Parish rivalry here in LaPlace. Back with our halftime right after this. Welcome back. It's halftime. This is a big River Parish rivalry between St. Charles Catholic and Riverside, with the Rebels of Riverside leading the Comets of St. Charles Catholic 21-3. Ken Berthelot, along with Coach Wade Kaiser, Stephanie Altman, our field reporter. One of the keys that Frank Monica, the St. Charles Catholic coach, talked about in the pregame was that he could not get in third and long and could not afford to have penalties hurt his team. That happened to him way too many times in the first half, Wade.
Well, absolutely. He's addressing that right now in the locker room. He's quite unusual for a Frank Monica coach team to have 3 illegal procedure penalties. He's had that so far in the first half. What he's also had is he's had 2 turnovers that has been resulted in 14 points for Riverside. That's highly unusual for a St. Charles offense. Those are things he's addressing right now in that locker room. So, bottom line, he's got to get back to what he knows best, making sure he stays on schedule, which is one of his keys, not get into third and long situations, put him in third and manageable situations. Those are things he and his staff are talking to his kids right now.
Well, the 14 points were scored off of mistakes. Of course, a fumble that then led to a Riverside touchdown. The fake field goal didn't work, and they later scored there. And then, of course, the INT by Heckathorn. He returns that interception, 26 yards for a score. Butler, again, scored the quarterback. Jared Butler scored both of the touchdowns for Riverside on runs of 6 and 24 yards.
Now, Riverside, what are they talking about? Well, I'm going to tell you what they're talking about is we need to continue to be opportunistic. They've been opportunistic so far in the first half. They need to continue to make sure that they're getting around the football on defense, making things happen, fumbles, interceptions. All right, and offensively, I would love to see those guys get the ball into the hands of number 1 a little bit more, whether it's handing it off to them, throwing it to them, snapping it to them. I'd like to see them get Herb McGee more involved in their offensive game plan.
I think we'll see that in the second half. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment. Harrison Hackathorn on this pick play returned 26 yards for the 3rd touchdown of the first half for Riverside. St. Charles Catholic High School. A look at the first half stats with Riverside leading 21-3. And coaches, we take a look at rushing yards. And when you look at the bottom two categories, I don't think anything surprising on the first two, but takeaways, 2 takeaways by Riverside turns into 14 points for the Rebels.
Right, I said that going into the halftime. I think that's the huge thing that Frank was addressing in the locker room is the turnovers. I mean, both of them lead to 14 points. Those are things that are going to have to get straightened up, with this young sophomore quarterback. So, yeah, absolutely. Those 2 stats right there jump out at you, and that's the story of our game here so far.
Anything on the rushing yardage, passing yardage, total offensive yardage really stand out outside of two good clubs doing what they do best?
They're doing what they do best, and it's like I said, I would hope to see the Rebels decide to get the ball in the hands of Herb McGee somehow in the second hand with some more touches, not just by throwing the football to him, but by handing the ball off. You got a good look at Bill Stubbs fixing to send out his kickoff return team on the field because they deferred, and they will be getting the ball here to start the second half.
Yeah, and again, that means Jeremy Gibson, Hardell Mack, Kendall Martin, all deep, and all 3 very explosive. These 2 teams, again, sit atop District 9-2A, and Frank Monica getting ready to send his kickoff. Now, would the old gambler himself, Billy Stubbs used to be a riverboat gambler. I don't think he gambles as much now in his older age and the strength of his football team that he has here. Frank Monica's still been known to gamble. He's already done at least 1 in this game with the fake field goal. Would he try an onside kick to start the second half?
I think he needs to put that ball deep, play some defense, force a punt, force a punt, and put a drive together and get things settled down for his kids. That's what I would do.
Well, me too.
But that's not necessarily what Frank would do.
I think that's the safe play with the score being what it is. Andrew Rodrigue will send it deep, and this one will come down and be returned. And this return coming back to Juwan Bell.
Mr. Bell.
Let's go downstairs to Stephanie for her sideline report.
Thank you, Ken. I talked to Bill Stubbs at halftime. He simply said that apart from the penalties, his team is playing flawless, but he said he wants them to play even better in the second half. I didn't get a chance to talk with Coach Frank Monica, but I can tell from his demeanor when he came back on the field that he is just not happy with the way this football team is going. Ken and Wade, back to you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Probably the reason Stephanie still has her head is because she didn't get close to Frank Monica. I would imagine that he would have just been gnarly coming out of the locker room.
Well, I'm sure he had a few choice things to say to his offense, but so did his defensive coordinator, Wayne Stein.
Absolutely.
But rightly so. And that's what makes Frank Monica such a great coach. He can motivate his players, and they're going to get them to play better in the second half.
From the 18-yard line on first down, Butler is the quarterback. He has gone all the way and throws complete to McGee, Herb McGee. Now, we thought we might see a little bit of Herb McGee switch at the quarterback slot with Jared Butler, because in those games when Butler was out, the 3 games he missed with the fractured elbow, McGee was the quarterback and did a pretty good job there. Here's a throw again. He's got a man wide open. This is Tyler Goche. Goche, it's a foot race, and Goche is going to win to the end zone. He will go all the way, 81 yards for the score.
Once he got into the open, there was nobody catching him. Nice pass off the play action by Jared Butler. Open wide receiver and Tyler Goche, and then he was off to the races.
Wow.
Now he's got to kick a PAT. He's tired.
He's got 50-yard range. It might just float over the crossbar.
Well, that's the thing when in AA football and some of the lower levels of football as far as classifications are concerned, you got to do everything. So your kicker is also a receiver, like in Mr. Goche's example here.
It is good, 28-3, and wow, look at him. He deserves a rest on the sideline.
It's off play action pass. They pump the screen to McGee. Goche's running vertical down the field, hits him in stride, for the touchdown.
74 yards for the score. And what an explosive way to open the second half. Now, you talk about zapping and sapping a team. You zap them and you sap them of all their momentum. Billy Stubbs knows he's in the driver's seat right now if his defense can do it the rest of the way.
Well, the Comets got to get something going here, and Coach Monica and his offensive staff know that. They got to get this kickoff. They've got to put something together and come away with some sort of points.
Frank
But
Monica knows he's got to spark his team. By the way, Riverside only had 80 yards passing before that 74-yard touchdown play. Wow.
Good
No,
look
we
at
were
Coach
talking
Monica
about-
there working the official. Always working the official.
Yeah, we were talking about using McGee a little bit more. How about Goche? He's been one of their top 3 receivers all year.
Absolutely. McGee touches the ball. They set McGee up that time on a little decoy. They hit him first, coming right out on the first play from scrimmage. Then they pumped the ball to him, and they hit Goche in stride. So they used him as a decoy right there.
Lewis, Smith, both deep. It's going to go to Eric Lewis. Lewis is just as explosive, but he runs into a wall before he can reach the 20-yard line. It'll be brought down at the 19-yard line. Eric Lewis.
Great coverage right there by the Riverside kickoff team, where they normally expect the ball to go the end zone by Goche, who's a little tired after the pass, catch, kick on the PAT. He's got to come out and now kick off.
That might be his only flaw tonight.
Doesn't quite get it into the end zone. So they got to cover the kick. Some kickoff teams will kind of, jog down the field knowing that their guy has to put in the end zone. Not that kickoff team. Did a great job. Harrison Heckathorn makes the tackle.
Hey, still give him an A when you grade the tape, will you? Please, my goodness, as Veron in the backfield to make a stop. And Eric Veron will be all over the place. One of the tackles leader on this team, also leads in tackles for loss now with 9 after that tackle for loss.
Evan Veron comes off of St. Charles's left side, off of the edge. Nobody touches him and trips up Taj Smith.
He's a Nichols State commitment. And, boy, Timmy Rebo's getting a good one right there. 6'1", 215, a senior. He'll step in right away and be a leader defensively for the Colonels down in Thibodaux. Now it's second down, 11, and wide right nowhere for Taj Smith. And right now St. Charles Catholic just cannot find a spot to have success in this second half.
First time St. Charles has shown option tonight. That's a little speed option right there. You can see Nash right there down the line of scrimmage, pitches the ball back to Taj Smith. Nowhere to go. Great defense, great option responsibility defense by a Riverside defense right there.
I think that's the most impressive thing, Wade, is you haven't seen that play this whole game. Yet when St. Charles Catholic ran it, great assignment defense to make it happen. And now Nash in trouble, and he'll get smothered way back inside the 15-yard line at the 14-yard line. And that'll bring up a 4th down, and St. Charles will have to punt this football away with 9.5 to play in the third quarter.
Veron right there, bang. Right there, comes in, grabs him around the knees, brings him down. I'll tell you what, Veron has turned it up a notch right there. That's one of the guys that Frank Monica said is a beast to have to handle offensively.
Once again, Ciano is punting from his own end zone, this time about 3 yards deep. Kendall Martin is back at midfield. Riverside going to get excellent field position. Again, high snap, but no rush at all. The return is on. It'll be a short punt, but get a great St. Charles Catholic roll on this, and it's going to roll all the way to the 41-yard line. My goodness, when they needed another good punt by Ciano, they got it. And we'll be back with more right after this. A 46-yard punt gives Riverside the football. NBC Bank Prep Showcase may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of WHNO TV 20. A penalty was called on that play.
Penalty was called, a holding penalty on Riverside. It was post-possession, so they backed it up from the original spot where the ball was caught. 10 yards.
Moves the Rebels back to their own 31-yard line. Butler remains at quarterback. Looks like he's going to go with the success that the Rebels are having. Fakes it into the line, throws off the fingertips of Tyler Goche. That was up for grabs, but no Comet was close enough to it to go get the old hot potato.
Tell you what, he catches that ball, he goes another 70 or 80
Almost
yards
the
for a
same play,
touchdown.
huh, Wade?
Well, it's a little
Variation
off of it. It's a little kind of pick screen, I guess you would call it, out there between the number 1 and number 2 receiver from the boundary, and Goethe comes underneath number 1 right there, Herb McGee, and should have caught the ball, should have gone for 6 again. Jared
Butler,
Butler's
50%
stats right
of his
there.
passes, 152 yards, not bad. They'll give it to Sanders, bounces off the first tackler, and then finally gets gang tackled at the 36-yard line. He'll be close to a first down, but not there. So he'll have a little work to do. By the way, Eric Lewis, defensively for St. Charles Catholic, the fine DB, is more or less playing center field free safety just in case they do bust one like that again. Saw Sanders using that power, just all muscle. When you watch him up close in warm-ups pregame, you just are amazed at the muscle on this young man. And there's another throw and catch by Tyler Goche. And Goche has enough to move the chains, which is all Riverside wanted to do right there. I think you're going to see Riverside, well, watch the play first.
Great protection right there. St. Charles brings a blitz off the edge by Justin Dubose. Gets picked up great by Sanders, the back, and nice throw and catch by the Rebels.
The Rebels do have a speed-up offense, but with a 28-3 lead, the clock running, I think they're going to try to milk as much clock as they can in this battle for the top spot in District 9 2A. So nothing fancy there, straight ahead.
Right, the thing Riverside's got to do right now is they're going to want to make sure that they don't want to give the ball up in any type of cheap turnover right here, so they're going to make sure that they're extremely cautious in what they're doing with possession of the ball.
And ensuring the future.
Second down, 8 for Riverside. Butler and company get the play from the sideline. Sanders, Brandon Sanders. I mean, everybody on this Riverside offense has contributed tonight in a good, positive way. Here's Sanders on that counter. Look at him break tackles. Look at him just trudge right through the pile of bodies. He's got the first down. Look at the 9-2A standings while they move the chains. Country Day, St. Charles Catholic, Riverside, all bunched up at the top. And one of these two teams won't be bunched up at the top after this game.
Well, I'm telling you what, Country Day, is sitting there at 2-0, 7-0. What a great job Joe Chango has done over there at Country Day. He's going to have to now run the gauntlet with Newman, St. Charles, and Riverside the next 3 weeks.
Nelson Stewart talked about that. He ran that gauntlet. Now it's Country Day's turn to run that gauntlet and see what it looks like after they complete that very tough circuit. Gauntlet is the proper word. Timeout called by Riverside with 6.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. There was a flag down, but I think Riverside called timeout first. So they might pick up that flag if they call a timeout before the delay of game. Well, that gives us the chance to remind you that it's easy to focus under pressure, confront adversity, manage anxiety, and be self-confident. That's the challenges that most high school athletes face on the field, in the classroom, and in life. At Winning Actions, Dr. Tony Melito will teach your child how to handle these challenges and thrive under pressure. Call Winning Actions today to find out more. Where was Dr. Tony Melito when we were in high school?
Absolutely.
Where was Tony? Where were you?
Yeah, making good decisions. That would have helped, absolutely, having somebody to talk to in regards to making good decisions.
Self-confidence, taking what you can do in the practice field into a game. We saw guys who do it a lot tonight, get very nervous in the first quarter because of the intensity of this rivalry game between these two schools. First down 10. Butler wanted to pass. Now he'll just run it right up the middle. And he gets good positive yardage, and that's the type of runner Butler is.
I'm impressed with this Riverside offensive line. Drake Perrette, Mason Ciano, Glenn Bernard, Cameron Cook, Garrett Anders. These guys are physical up front, handling right now a St. Charles defensive line that looks kind of helpless right there. Quarterback draw right there by Jared Butler. Once again, they used McGee as a kind of decoy, and then Butler, who jogs off the field, looked like he's having some sort of shoulder issue.
Well, McGee has played quarterback in all the games while Butler was hurt, so he just gets into a comfortable position for himself. But we've got a penalty marker dropped on the field. We've got a legal procedure penalty being called on Riverside.
Well, change quarterback, change cadence a little bit, reflection in the voice. Might have that instance to get somebody a quick start there that's going to give you that illegal procedure penalty. Let's hope Jared Butler's okay. He went off holding his right shoulder.
Number 9 that you see in the background, standing there without the helmet, is Jordan Loving. He should be the quarterback. He's a sophomore, but hurt his back playing baseball. As Wade explained earlier, had the surgery, never fully recovered, won't see action this year. And here goes McGee trying to take it around the right end himself. He'll be stopped after a short gain on the play. But Jordan Loving, we watched him last year. And goodness, he for a freshman, he was just so good. Has the height, has the size, has the calm and coolness.
Right. Well, he's going to heal up. He's going to come back for his baseball season, and he'll be ready to go next year, barring any injury this year in football. Come back for a junior season in football next year.
That'll get Frankie Cazzo excited, coach of the baseball team.
We should have a flag on the play. I think they're discussing right now the down and distance. So they have it marked at 4th, but it should actually be 3rd down. So there was a penalty that was on Riverside, should have been 3rd down over again.
Yeah, once the illegal procedure moved it back 5 yards, and
Correct.
they do fix it, it should have moved back to 2nd down, then this would have been 3rd down. So they now have the downs marker corrected. And Butler is back at quarterback. He is the 6-foot sophomore. Moves Sanders over to his left side and follows Sanders into the line. Look at the run by Butler. He will move the chains, I believe. He's got enough for the first down. And he's just that good as Justin Dubose makes the tackle.
Ken, what I like right there, he saw Sanders lined up on his wrong side, right? So you think a sophomore who doesn't really have command of everything, has command of his offense to move and get his guys in position in the formation, lined up right as a sophomore. That shows a lot of headsy, playing by this sophomore. Heads up, smart football knowledge.
You know what else I like about what Riverside is doing right now? They've got a comfortable lead at 28-3. They could strike, they could go for the long ball, but you know what? They're just eating clock. They're just moving the chains, eating clock, having some success. Coming around the left side, Gibson, only his 2nd carry of the evening, but he cannot turn the corner and is banged out of bounds.
Boy, he's banged out of bounds by Justin Dubose right there.
Dubose again.
I tell you right, that's a sweep to Riverside's left. Coming up, setting the edge, Justin Dubose does a nice job. But I'm going to tell you what I see right there. I see the defensive end from St. Charles Catholic kind of hooked up and locked up with the Riverside offensive lineman right there. Easily could have been possibly a holding penalty on that edge.
Yeah, you could see it very, very well in slow motion. 2nd down, little less than 2. Play action. Can run if he wants. And Butler will. Hesitated too long, however, and just gets back to the 35. A loss of 1, will not get the first down.
Looking again over to Herb McGee right there, trying to get something going on the quick screen, wide receiver screen to Herb McGee, I'm sorry, and St. Charles does a great job covering it, so he's got to tuck it up and get up the field.
Hey, who's been very quiet in this game is Jalen Banks and Avanti Cannon. They have not had a pass thrown their way yet in this contest. 3rd down, 3. Butler on the move. He will throw, and he has Goche. Goche has the first, has more, and Goche is in the red zone near the 10-yard line. Boy, Goche just finds a way to make it happen. Justin Dubose again on the tackle for St. Charles Catholic.
Common route that you see against most 3-deep coverages is a curl rail, and that's what they do right there. They run Goche on about a 14-yard curl route comeback. Nice catch. And they take number 17, Avante Cannon, and run him straight up the sidelines on a rail. Tell you what, if they would have looked down the boundary on the rail, they could have hit Cannon for 6.
Sanders nowhere to go on the right side. He's so quick, he just turns it back the other way, and it's all the way down to the 5 to the 4-yard line. Sanders looked like he was going to run into a pile of players and be stopped, and he just bounces up. Hey, nothing open there. Find a hole, then run to daylight.
Oh, it's the mark of a fine running back. Find a hole, find a crease, make something happen out of nothing. And the thing is make sure that you're falling forward and picking up positive yardage as you're going down, not getting knocked backwards. That's the key. Fall forward, pick up that extra yard.
Well, picked up 7 there, 2nd down, 3. They can get a first down without scoring the touchdown. Here's the throw into the end zone. Ooh, dangerous throw that time to Avante Cannon. First toss to him in this game, but it was off the mark, and there were some blue shirts behind him.
St. Charles goes to man coverage right there. Does a nice job banging up Avante Cannon coming underneath on the slant route, and the ball was a little off mark, but great coverage right there in man coverage by the Comets.
3rd down, 3. They're at the 5-yard line. Butler. Here comes the pressure. Opens up a hole on the left side, and he will just scamper into the end zone for the touchdown. Wow. Everybody came in one big wave, and he managed to evade that. Once he was past the first wave, it was an easy stride into the end zone for the score. A 5-yard run by Jared Butler, who has scored now all the offensive touchdowns in this game, 3 of 4.
Look to his right again, nothing open. Great coverage by the Comets. Tucks the ball down and just takes it into the end zone.
Goche puts it up, and with 1:57 to play in the 3rd quarter, 35-3 as Butler makes this touchdown scamper look easy. Come back, 35-3, Riverside in control. Getting set to kick off. Again, Goche has his wind back, so he'll probably send this one deep. The only one he didn't send deep was when he ran 74 yards for a touchdown on the catch. So 1st and 10 at the 20 for St. Charles Catholic. And Riverside and St. Charles Catholic fans, Mellow Mushroom will donate 10% of your order to your school's athletics department through Saturday night. Stop by at the Metairie or Covington locations. Tell your server you're a fan of one of the schools and give back to your school with the best pizza in town. And don't forget to stay mellow at the Mellow Mushroom. By the way, they have more than just pizza. They have some great salads, great burgers over there, TV screens. You can watch us tomorrow. Well, you can watch us today if you're there today. You can watch us tonight and today. How's that?
Absolutely. You can also go buy a video. Buy a disc.
Buy the DVD. Absolutely. Yeah, it sounds like Back to the Future. Taj Smith trying to find something on the left side. The performance that we've seen by Riverside tonight, Wade Kaiser, some people say that as we watch this play, I'll ask you the question after you look at the report.
I'll tell you what, trying to run power O right there, nothing there for Taj Smith. So what does he do? He bounces it outside. Great job by Riverside defense coming up from the secondary support in the run.
This is a 2A battle tonight. This is a District 9 2A battle. But when you look at, here's Justin Loop running. He's caught in the backfield. He's dropped. First hit Cortez Joseph. Had some help that time by Jared Hemel. How would you compare Riverside Academy and the dynasty that Billy Stubbs is putting together here with a 5A program?
Well, I'll tell you what, they've got skill-wise, they have tremendous talent that could probably play in a lot of 5A programs anywhere around the state. So, with the amount of skill that they have, they would match up real well. You know, so that would be interesting to see some of those, see them versus a 5A football team. They play. They'll play every now and then. They'll play Destrehan or somebody like that in a jamboree, and they hold their own all the time.
Third down pass to Brady Becker, by the way, caught by Becker, short of the first down, so that brings up 4th down and 3. Yeah, but I agree with you. I really do.
I mean, they're size-wise, they fit with a 5A football team, and definitely skill-wise, they fit with a 5A football team. And Bill Stubbs has done a nice job building the program. Riverside has a rich tradition all the way from Mickey Roussel all the way now into Bill Stubbs' era. And I tell you what, he's doing a great job continuing the Riverside tradition of fine football.
4th and 3, timeout called St. Charles Catholic. They only had 10 men on the field and was rushing somebody out there. And there's only 2 seconds left in the quarter. That's the problem. He could have just waited for the clock to run out without snapping the football. I don't think the game play. Let's take a look at Riverside's schedule anyway with 2 seconds left. And you've got John Ehret and Hanville are 2 schools in 5A that they played. Now, they lost one, but the one they lost was by 1 point, and it came on they missed the extra point on a touchdown, and Ehret scored late, got their extra point, won the game. So that's how close it was. They beat Hanville. Look at Parkview Baptist, again, 3A there.
Well, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, about playing against 5A competition. The thing that's big for them playing against Ehret and Hanville is what they get in power points playing up in classification. They will pick up 3 power points for playing up in classification, playing a 5A football team, and they pick up the 10 points for the win. So from that standpoint, that helps their power rating, and that's the reason why if things were to end tonight, they would be the number 1 seed in the Division III playoffs.
After tonight, Country Day and Sophie Wright, can they handle that part of their schedule? On paper, they should, right? Kendall Martin calls for the fair catch and makes it diving down at the 42-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, on paper they should, but that's the reason why you play the game.
Exactly.
That's why you play the game.
That's the end of the third quarter, 35-3, Riverside rolling. We'll be back right after this with the 4th and final quarter tonight. Berthelot, Wade Kaiser, Stephanie Altman down on the field. It's been all Riverside with 3 rushing touchdowns by Jared Butler, the quarterback, and a pass. And here's an interception by Lewis. Eric Lewis, one of our players to watch on the tip drill, gives St. Charles Catholic a little bit of new life, and he's still running before the rugby scrum finally drops him, but he's all the way down to the 38-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, right there was a tip ball right out of Herb McGee's hands. The ball was placed perfectly. Hit Herb right in the hands. Herb McGee right in the hands, bounces right into number 4, our player to watch this week for St. Charles Catholic, Eric Lewis, who's a tremendous athlete, who's been kind of quiet tonight for the Comics, and he gets a nice return on the picked ball.
Well, still with 11:43 to play, and I think we had a penalty flag that was down. Did they pick it up? Oh, you know what it is? That's unsportsmanlike on St. Charles Catholic for pulling people off the pile.
New rule this year that's come in big in the Federation. You're not supposed to be able to pull people off of the pile. It's come down from college. And here you can see the pick again right into the hands of Eric Lewis. And you'll see the Blue Jays coming in there. The Comets coming in there to try to pull some guys off of their teammate, and that's where they get the flag.
Yeah, you see it right there.
Number 33 trying to pull a teammate off the pile results in the personal foul.
That was Kobe Foster. A roll to the left by Lloyd Nash and the toss. Another flag and is down back at the 39-yard line of Riverside. Boy, a lot of penalties in this game. Officials getting their work out. Silas Phipps, the referee, and his crew tonight.
Illegal use of hands against Riverside right there. They're going to mark it off from where the spot of the foul was, or excuse me, the succeeding spot at the end of the play, which will bring it back to a first down for St. Charles Catholic.
So Riverside just gives them the penalty yardage right back.
You look at the penalties right there. You can see that we've had an enormous amount tonight on both sides.
Plethora of penalties. Riverside 8 for 93, St. Charles Catholic 7, and that's a 15 penalties in this ball game, and we only in the fourth quarter. Well, that time Jensen was streaking long, and Nash thought he was going to cut to the sideline. So it's an incomplete pass on some miscommunication there.
Not really in sync right there. Nobody out there to throw the ball to. Receiver gone down the boundary. Nice protection by the St. Charles Catholic offensive line. Just didn't put the ball in any receiver's hands or in the direction, or should I say in the area of any receiver out there.
If you're joining us late, Lloyd Nash is a sophomore. He's playing because the regular starting quarterback, Patrick Ratliff, the experienced senior, he suffered a concussion 3 weeks ago, and it's been Nash's team. Nash will run, makes a nice cut inside, and then is dropped on a pretty jarring tackle. Was that Veron or Hackathon on the? That was Veron.
That was Veron on a driving tackle on Lloyd Nash, who nobody threw to. Great coverage down the field, so he takes off, tucks the ball, and in comes a great stick by Evan Veron.
Veron has been at this school since third grade. He's been starting sometimes as an eighth grader. He played. He's been. They call him sometimes as a 5-year starter. He's played that long for this program. How good is he? Senior leader this year, making it happen. And here comes Nash, trying for the first down, but he'll be pushed out of bounds. And I don't think he made it.
Well, I'm going to tell you who flushed Lloyd Nash out of the pocket right there was number 44.
Veron
does a great job coming off the edge, dipping the shoulder, making his body small, getting around the offensive tackle and flushing him out of the pocket. Here you can see it right there. Great move right there by Veron, flushing Lloyd Nash, nowhere to go. And here comes the hit on the boundary. Lucky a flag wasn't thrown right there.
Yeah, I thought one was, but it's somebody waving a gold pom-pom. Looks like a flag from up here, very near the bench of the St. Charles Catholic team. Again, Evan Veron, senior leader, really hard-hitting linebacker, leads this team in tackles, big number 44. He's got the commitment to Nichols, and Lloyd Nash probably knows him personally after this game because he spent a lot of time in the St. Charles Catholic backfield. They're going to measure. It was close, closer than I thought.
Well, Lloyd Nash is going to have a great future in front of him. He's a fine athlete. We saw some film of him earlier, making a great catch in baseball. And he's going to be a fine quarterback, wide receiver, running back, whatever athletic position they decide to use him in the years, in his next 2 years coming up. You know, he could end up being the starting quarterback again next year, but I also see him as a wide receiver. I also see him as a DB. He's a fine athlete.
Yeah, Ratliff is a senior, so as you said, this will be his team without question. And you got to hope Ratliff, for his sake, as a senior, can get back and play with this St. Charles Catholic team, because this is a very talented team, much more talented than what you have seen on this field tonight.
Well, Patrick Ratliff is the last in the line, and he's the caboose of all the Ratliff boys who all played football here at St. Charles Catholic. So there's a legacy down that line of those young men playing for the Comets.
Stacked I, triple I behind Lloyd Nash. Now he'll spread them out. They just need one. There's encroachment. And now you've got your first down. 4th and 1 now becomes move the chains.
Well, they got Evan Veron to jump right there. You could see they were moving their formation around, trying to be able to pull somebody off, and they were successful with getting 44 coming across the line of scrimmage and picking up the first down for St. Charles Catholic.
Once again, that might be the only thing that Evan Veron has done wrong tonight. Big number 44. And I think Timmy Rebo, the biggest problem, he's going to just make sure he stays with that commitment to Nicholls State, because this is the kind of young man you build a college football, small college football program around without question. There's the pass slapped away, incomplete on first down.
Trying to run the jailbreak screen again underneath to Brady Becker, and the ball was a little bit wide right off of his hands. Didn't get a chance to really get up and catch the ball. And it's going to bring up 2nd down for the Comets.
Growing experience for Lloyd Nash, too. Remember, he is a sophomore. He's given him 3 really good games since Ratliff suffered the concussion. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, 621 yards passing. But as we said earlier tonight, I don't think he's been in a game of this magnitude. And Frank Monica, I think, did everything to try to get him ready to play. But, my goodness, just tough. So now we're going to have...
You can see number 4's just come on the field for the
so they bring Eric Lewis in. Eric Lewis can do it all. He plays offense, defense, and there is a pass. It's just slapped down on a really good defensive play by Harrison Hackathorn. Maybe saved a touchdown.
Harrison Hackathorn had to cover the 3rd receiver coming out of the backfield right there on a rail route, and it shows his athletic ability to be able to run with that receiver and do a great job right there at the end, slapping the ball away. You can see it, getting a hand up right there. The receiver was behind him. He's trying to recover to catch ground and does a great job leaping right there and just knocking it off course.
Hackathorn, another young man that started at Riverside way back in the early grade years, 3rd, 4th grade, and he's been starting since his freshman year. He and Veron, I mean, they are the senior leaders of this team.
Right. And
Hackathorn's a junior, pardon me.
Hackathorn is the defensive tackle leader for the Rebels.
Oh, this time in trouble, and look out. Here comes the big rush and the tackle by Kobe Foster. Tackle for a loss, big sack by Kobe Foster. Flag dropped way back at the 21-yard line.
Penetration just didn't give Lloyd Nash the chance to set his feet and get the ball out of there.
It's against Silas Phipps and our referee and his crew. Figure this one out. Stubbs not happy. Uh-oh.
Stubbs trying to figure out what's going on. He's a little irritated. We got a personal foul face mask against the Rebels. So that's going to be 15 yards. And Bill's a little upset right there.
It's got to be something that he really disagrees with to be arguing that vehemently with a 35-3 lead.
Been there. It's called the principle of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, if I've been down 50
that
and
has
I've
nothing
argued,
to do with Principal.
No.
This is PLE. That principle.
Well, I'm telling you right now, Bill Stubbs, he believes he's right.
You better believe it.
And it's about the principle of the thing.
He's a fighter, man.
I've been up by 30, I've been down by 30, and I'm still going to argue a call if I believe the principle is right and I believe the official is wrong. Whether the official was wrong or right, in the end, he's going to be right because they marked off the penalty, and it brings up 3rd and 5 for the Comets.
One of the few times you'll see Frank Monica that calm on the sideline in that shot as he talked to the quarterback because the call went his way. All right, to give to Ty Smith. Can he find room? No, I'm telling you, this Riverside defense has just shut everybody down. Jared Hemel led the charge and got help. Wow, everybody was in on that one, including Tyler Lewis.
What I'm impressed with this Riverside defense is the physical nature in which they play.
Wow,
they strike people, and I tell you why. as a football coach, as a guy that's coordinated defense before, you love to see your players strike people, and that's what they're doing. That's what they've done all night tonight. You know, this Veron, Heckathorn, Hemel, these guys strike people.
Foster, Lewis, goodness, Thaddeus Landry, Lebo Bridges, my goodness, 9:23 to play in the game. They're going to think about what to do on 4th down, 35-3 Riverside in the commanding lead. Fourth down, they've thought about it. Field goal unit is not on the field, which makes sense. 35-3. Right now, you need a touchdown on the board with 9:23.
There's no question.
So they're going for it here. Yeah, it's just 4-down territory. They just wanted to make sure everybody was set. They got the right play, and I don't think there was ever a thought of going for a field goal. I think they just wanted to make sure they had it. 4th and 4, he drops. Nash drops the snap. He's going to scramble for his life. He's got a little time, throws a wounded duck, and it's incomplete. A diving attempt for an interception will fall down. Kendall Martin almost had it, couldn't get it. Riverside takes over on downs. Let's go downstairs to Stephanie Altman for a field report.
Thank you, Ken. Many of you know Old Tulane Stadium was torn down in 1980, but what many of you may not know is that a portion of that structure is now here on the home side of Dupuis Stadium. They floated it down the river on a barge and used it here at St. Charles Catholic. Ken and Wade, back to you.
Wade, you know about that because you were here when they floated it down. Matter of fact, you might have been on the river making sure it got here, correct?
No, there's a picture right there of the original way the wood looked, Tulane Stadium bleachers right there. And I've spent many a time with some of the great quarterback club members of St. Charles Catholic, changing out a bunch of those boards every year from being warped on the structure. I tell you what a great group of people here at St. Charles Catholic. What a great group of people in the river parishes.
Yes, without question. Butler in at quarterback, and I don't think Riverside wants to do anything fancy but run clock, and the first run goes to Sanders. He doesn't get very much. It meant a lot to this program to get pieces of Tulane Stadium and get some extra seating here and build these stands here for people to enjoy football, Friday night football.
St. Charles Catholic, Ken, originally was at St. Charles Borromeo. Great look right there at the home stands in the press box here at Thomas Dupuis Stadium. Was originally, the high school was at St. Charles Borromeo in Destrehan. They moved, the Archdiocese allowed St. Charles Borromeo to move and build a new high school, St. Charles Catholic, out here in LaPlace. So they had a football field, they had some bleachers, and when they got the opportunity to get a hold of some of the structure from Tulane Stadium when they were tearing it down, they floated it down the river, as Stephanie said, and got a chance to build the home bleachers right here in LaPlace on their new football field.
Got a good look at Billy Stubbs right there, 58 years old, man. He's an old pro at building programs. He took Salmon to 3 state championships and had to beat John Curtis twice, has a 3-2 career record against Curtis. They hired him here because, as athletics director Timmy Bird, head basketball coach, said, we wanted a guy who doesn't want to play for second place. He's not satisfied with second place. We brought him here to build a football program, and he's just done that. He replaced Mickey Roussel, was here for 22 years and did a good job getting them to the state finals in 93, 98, and 2000, 4 trips to the semis. Now you've got Billy Stubbs, and he's got a program that is good enough. I mean, good enough, talented enough to go all the way this year.
What he's really done is he's done a great job assembling a fantastic coaching staff. Shane Boer, his offensive coordinator, Chris Lashney, his defensive coordinator, do a great job teaching these young men the game
Butler
and getting
nowhere
them to
stuff,
play
by
hard.
the way. Go ahead.
Right, and getting them to play hard. And you can see tonight the physical nature in which they played both offensively and defensively. That's a result of good coaching. All right, they've got athletic talent, absolutely. And you can see a good look right there at the athletic talent of Jared Butler. But you've got to take that talent, you got to coach it, and Bill Stubbs has put together a first-class coaching staff.
Lost to Calvary Baptist in the Division III semifinals last year, and I'll tell you, this team is stronger than last year's team. And look, he's doing this without his really good quarterback who won't be back till next year. That's 6'3" Jordan Loving. And again, on third down, they just run up the left side. Nothing fancy. Eat some clock. 7:34 to be exact, and the clock ticking in this one. And that'll bring up a fourth down for Riverside. And Tyler Goche trots out onto the field to pump this one away to the St. Charles Catholic Comets.
Well, we talked earlier about the Division III standings, our bracket, should we say, and we looked at the power ratings. If you look at those power ratings from top to bottom, they have some great football teams in Division III. St. Charles Catholic, Riverside Academy. You've got up north, I think, Ouachita Christian.
Timeout call for St. Charles
Right,
Catholic.
you've got a bunch of really great football teams. Notre Dame Crowley, St. Thomas Aquinas, Calvary Baptist. The list just keeps going on. And take a look at those names right there. That's just the top 8. There's going to be 16 teams in this bracket of great football around this state in Division III. And I tell you what, Riverside, unless things change drastically, which in the next 7:03, will walk away with this thing as far as being the top power rating going in the next couple of weeks, and then probably going into the playoffs. They'd pick up a 16 seed. They'd pick up a home game in the first round. How big is that? Possibly, if St. Charles Catholic can continue to, unless things change, rebound in the next couple of weeks and get a couple of wins, they could get into the playoffs with a home game and possibly see Riverside again in a semifinal game.
Now remember, this is a very good St. Charles Catholic football team. They're
absolutely.
6-1, and they haven't beaten just a bunch of slouch teams either. Look at this punt by Goche. My goodness, drives Eric Lewis back. He picks it up at the 39 and then is going backwards, and they finally tackle him way back. They're going to mark his forward progress up at the 36-yard line. So let's take a look at the St. Charles Catholic schedule, because look, they got some wins at some impressive schools too. Look at beating Thibodeau. They got some 5A wins over Thibodeau and Central. One loss to a 5A team. That was the East Ascension. So
right.
They've played a good schedule with some good wins, and they're going to be very representative, I think, once we get into the playoffs.
No doubt about it. I mean, and once again, like I said, they're all playing to make sure that they get that bye at home in that first round. That is huge. Playing at home in the first round is huge. It sets the stage for the rest of the playoffs.
Lloyd Nash will just hand it off, and nowhere for Justin Loop to go. He's gang tackled, so they won't get much. And again, Frank Monica, never count Frank Monica out. I can tell you that now. So, by the way, 6:36 to play in the game, clock running. Frank Monica, old 45-year veteran of coaching, and man, he's been around college football. He's been around high school football for a long time. 12-year assistant at Tulane, was up for and probably would have taken the Nicholls State head coaching job at one time, but as one of the assistants at Tulane, I think he was also up for or being talked about as a possible candidate for a head coaching job there. So you're looking at a guy who was very well thought of as a flag is thrown on this running play. He's been here at St. Charles Catholic for 16 years, got one state title here, a number of times Coach of the Year honors in his district, and what he's done has been amazing. And I think what's more amazing as you watch these officials work through this, and a lot of people don't realize this, but this August he went through a little angioplasty to clear a little blockage in a coronary artery, and wanted to make sure that he had all that cleared up, and guess what? They still can't stop 66-year-old Frank Monica. I promise you that.
Well, let me tell you something.
And look, he took that seriously
right.
because his father and two brothers died in their late 50s of heart attacks. So he's taken that very, very seriously.
Well, let me tell you something about Coach Monica. I had the opportunity to work with him at one time when he was coaching at Jesuit. And, I learned a lot from him. He's a guy that I hold highly as far as the esteem of what I know in my football knowledge, which I might know a lot, I might not, but the bottom line is what Frank Monica taught me about the game was tremendous. And he's been a teacher of young men, a teacher of coaches. He has Ty Monica, his son, who I had the opportunity to coach here at St. Charles years ago, on his staff. He has Wayne Stein, his nephew, who I had the opportunity to coach here on his staff. His youngest son, Nick Monica, is the secondary coach at Rummel, who is a fine, and the head baseball coach, who's a fine, outstanding coach. So he has put together a great staff. He teaches coaches how to coach, and he teaches young men how to grow up and be young men in today's world.
You took the words out of my mouth. 234 wins, 72 losses at St. Charles Catholic, Jesuit, Riverside, and Lutcher. So he can get it done. And Kendall Martin on the left side has a little bit of running room. He's electric, and he's brought that flag thrown. Flag is thrown. So hold everything. Justin Loop with the tackle over there. And let's see what this flag will sort it out. But you've got two good coaches, and kind of a final word on both Billy Stubbs and Frank Monica.
Got a block in the back right there by the Riverside on the punt team.
We'll finish that thought after the break. We will take a break right now and be back with more in just a moment. 35-3 Riverside leading. Welcome back. Fans on the Riverside sideline and stands enjoying this one. Their team's up by a bunch. And they're about to take over the top spot, or at least be tied for the top spot. No worse. After tonight's game, they've got this one pretty safely tucked away as the clock is ticking away with 5 minutes exactly to play in this game. Well, Andre Wilson got his first carry of the ball game, comes in here only carrying 7 times for 44 yards, so that's his 8th carry of the year. They may give him the ball, feed him, and let him run a little bit in this fourth quarter. He'll get it again. DeAndre Wilson, look for him to make some carries. But I wanted to make the statement because you fit into this category of coaches with the Billy Stubbs and the Frank Monicas of the world. We can talk about their wins. We can talk about what they do for their programs. But you hit the nail on the head when you talked about they teach young men how to be successful. They teach young men how to get it done in life.
Well, I've witnessed it firsthand working with Frank Monica, and and I said it. He teaches young men how to grow up and be young men in today's world. The other thing he does is he takes young coaches and he teaches them how to coach, and that is so important because those young coaches will have to also be an extension of Frank Monica and help, also work with those young men.
Billy Stubbs like that. You're looking at him. His back to you right now as he makes the turn.
Bill Stubbs does the same thing. If you look up and down his sidelines, you see a lot of young coaches over there. Bill Stubbs teaches coaches how to coach. He teaches young men how to grow up and be young men. So I tell you what, 2 outstanding head coaches here tonight that, I'm sure one day will be in a Louisiana Hall of Fame with the LHSAA because of their contributing to high school athletics and high school kids.
Monica, I think, getting ready to move up to 8th among wins of active coaches in the state. Fair catch called for and made by Lewis right inside the 20-yard line. 9 coaches in Louisiana have 200 wins. Frank Monica, you're seeing 1 tonight, and we're going to see 2 next week.
Yes, we will. We'll see 2 next week with J.T.
Roth.
Curtis and Jay Roth.
And Jay Roth and JT Curtis. Absolutely. Boy, that's going to be fun to do that game live on Halloween.
Halloween afternoon.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And two great football teams, two outstanding football coaches leading those teams.
Can't play a game on Halloween night unless somebody promises to return a punt. How many yards for a touchdown? So, St. Charles Catholic just trying to get some people moving the football in the right direction. We're going to see a few people for St. Charles Catholic run the ball who doesn't normally get a chance to run it. This is Tim Williams, the junior, getting some carries in this big rivalry game as we near the 3-minute mark. By the way, speaking of this big rivalry, started back in 1987. St. Charles Catholic won the first. Riverside Academy won the next year. Then they did not play for 4 years. They resumed the series, and Riverside Academy reels off 8 wins in a row, and they don't play for the next 4 years after that. That got you to the turn of the century. That got you to 2000. Another run into the line. They resumed the series in 2005, and this time St. Charles Catholic reels off 6 wins in a row. That included 2 jamborees. Now, the last 2 years, in 13 and 14, they played only jamborees, but this year they're in the same district, so the rivalry resumes as a full game basis. And you know what? This is a good rivalry. It's good for the parish. I hope they can keep it up. Does this mean that since they win them in bunches, does this mean that Riverside has the inside track?
Well,
start a streak.
That's kind of the way rivalries go. I mean, you look at all great rivalries, you get things come in bunches, and it's just 2 great storied football programs as far as the traditions that they have built, and it's great in the river parishes because you have passionate people about high school football.
Ty Smith moves the chains for a first down.
You know, they were here tailgating hours before the game. You drive down the street in front of St. Charles, down by the side of the stadium.
Hours. They beat our production crew here, and I think call time was, what time? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, and they were already lined
up.
They
were here barbecuing, and that's high school football in the river parishes.
Now, you were a head coach here for many years. Was it like that back then?
Yes, it was. It was like that back then, too. And in the 90s when I was the head coach here at St. Charles Catholic, and it was a passionate rivalry between our 2 schools. I had a great honor of coaching against a great coach at Riverside Catholic, Mickey Roussel, who I think is one of the best coaches ever to coach in this state. He's a fine gentleman, not to mention a fine family man.
1:15 to play.
It was like that. They were here 1 o'clock in the afternoon, barbecuing outside and honking the horns and waiting for the gates to open to get in and try to get a seat.
Wow. We're down to the final minute to play, 2nd down and 9. Well, let's call it 2nd down and 8. And again, Ty Smith, workhorse tonight, even more so than Luke. Down to the final 45 seconds in this one. Riverside will move to 6-1 of the year, 3-0 in District 9 2A, while St. Charles Catholic and Frank Monica will fall to 6-2, 2-1 in district play.
Well, let me tell you something. You got to have a short memory with these type of games, and Frank will have the Comets back ready to work tomorrow morning.
Yes, he will.
Make sure that they will have a short memory, and they'll get ready for next week. As Bill Stubbs will let them have the 24-hour rule, he'll make sure that they have a short memory. They'll get back to work tomorrow, getting ready for the rest of his schedule.
5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and that will be it. The clock ticks down. 1 second, it is over. And the renewal of this big rivalry goes to Billy Stubbs and the Riverside Rebels as the teams go out to shake hands, and good sportsmanship all around. Back with our post game right after this. 35-3, Riverside the winner. We are back. Let's go downstairs to Stephanie Altman, who has winning coach Bill Stubbs with her on the sidelines.
Thank you, Ken. I'm here with Riverside head coach Bill Stubbs. Coach, your defense held them to only 3 points tonight. You have to be proud of them.
You know, these guys are playing as a team. They're doing the things that have been taught all year, and they're doing it with a lot of aggression and a lot of heart and a lot of excitement. So you're going to get that. You know, we've got a pretty good group of kids.
How does having a healthy quarterback help you offensively?
I think it helps a lot. You know, there are a lot of big third downs, you know, where we're able to take Herb and put him back out there and throw the football to him. You know, so he's just going to get better and better. You know, this is his third football game, so I think, you know, there's a whole lot more of Jared Butler to see.
Awesome. Congratulations on the win, Coach. Thank you so much. Ken and Wade, back to you.
Now, Coach Bill Stubbs, I'll tell you what, that was one heck of a performance his team put on tonight.
Well, it was a great performance. It was a great performance by Jared Butler, this young sophomore. And
Yes.
I agree with everything Bill Stubbs had to say right there. You're going to see more of this young man because he's only going to get better and better each week. So, you know, they go into the playoffs. All right, they've got 2 more weeks left in the regular season. They get into that playoff bracket, and this young man continues to get snaps under his belt. They're just going to get more productive on offense. But I'll tell you what I am extremely impressed with is how this Riverside defense flies around, and they're physical when they get to the ball.
Well, Jared Butler, 3 touchdown runs of 6, 24, and 5. Goche on a 74-yard touchdown catch, and Harrison Heckathorn on a 26-yard interception return for a score accounted for the Riverside scoring, and they win 35-3 over St. Charles Catholic. Heck of a game. Coach, I enjoyed this one, enjoyed broadcasting it with you.
It was wonderful. It's great to be back in the River Parishes, and you know, Coach Monica's going to have these guys ready to play again next week, and I know Bill Stubbs will have his guys ready to go. It's going to be a great ending to a 9-2A season going into a Division III bracket.
And a homecoming for you. Thanks for joining us. The first NBC Bank Prep Showcase is live next Saturday for the highly anticipated first ever Catholic League meeting between Archbishop Rummel and John Curtis. Our coverage begins at 2 p.m. live on WHNO TV 20 and SportsNOLA.com. For Wade Kaiser, Stephanie Altman, and our entire WHNO crew who brought you some great camera shots tonight, I'm Ken Berthelot. Once again, your final score is Riverside 35 and St. Charles Catholic 3. From St. Charles Catholic in LaPlace, good night, everybody.